a Friday. My favorite day. I was born on this day.
Same.
So this is always. You're a Friday chick too.
I've been telling you for the past how. You see how we get along.
You see now, it be so. But you guys have a special name for people who are born on Friday, like Kofi and
Afia.
You guys call Afia too. Okay. Hey, greetings to all you Friday borns and the rest of people on other days. Good to have you here. This is #GTV Breakfast, and we are warming up for the weekend. It's going to be a beautiful show here today. You know me and my questions. Is it okay for an unemployed person to walk around with a 10,000 CD phone?
Well.
You don't get job, but you get 10,000 CD phone.
People walk around with Fendi bags because thousands of dollars.
And they don't have no job.
No. So.
What do you think? Are you unemployed right now? And is your phone worth a lot of money?
I'm sure it is.
Is there a disconnect? I saw somebody mention this comment on social media this morning while I was doing my reading. And I thought I'll just ask the question to people. So look at the phone on which you are sending us a WhatsApp a message on 055-556-1034. If you don't have a job and your phone is worth 10,000 CDs,
Normal.
what do you think? Send me a message. I want to know. I'm curious.
Normal.
Okay.
I'm sure Buko Banku will have a lot to say about
it was too much fun on that set.
Oh, it was. It was.
Valerie yesterday.
It was. Valerie could barely contain herself. She literally sat there and she held her laugh in her belly half the time. Because if she let it out, she would just break.
Just burst out. And if you missed that interaction, just go to our Facebook page, Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, and you click on videos. First of all, follow us. And click on videos and you see the interactions that Valerie had with Brahima Kamoko, aka Banku Fresh.
Bankueba. I liked having him on yesterday. I know, it's Friday. Like, why are we having Banku today?
You tell me. I'll go with you.
Don't worry. We'll go. But there's many. It's a lot to expect on the program this morning. We are sitting down with Echo Taylor.
Yes, he's a legend you may not have heard of. But if you think of Black Eyed Peas, if you think of Kelly Rowland, if you think of Carlos Santana, if you think of Pat Thomas, and he was providing music for all these people, and he's being sampled by a lot of musicians, and so in his 80s he's getting royalties big time. I'm going to sit down up close and personal with Uncle Ebo of Salt Pond, famous Ghanaian composer, musician, performer, songwriter, and you may not have heard about him, but today we're going to go up close and personal, so you watch out for that right here on today's show. What else?
We'll be looking at what made it, what topics, what stories, what conversations made it into the papers. You know, the guy who said he wanted to be a billionaire, the graphic sampled the story, and it's on their online platform. So many of the conversations that we have here end up going beyond our own portals at GBC. So you don't want to miss what's coming up in the headlines, what our panel have to say about the stories that made it to the papers. And of course, Valerie will bring it all down. It's Friday, you know how we do it. Today, it's all about love. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, guys.
Morning, lady.
Guys.
Yeah.
Good morning. Valerie is a guy. He's a guy. Guys.
It's like Bemen.
It's like Bemen.
People.
So you see I'm looking all bright.
You're looking great. It's a mini dress, right?
Yes, a mini dress. It's curtsy red cotton.
Bruta.
T-zone as well. So today we'll be keeping an eye at Flowerpot Junction, getting towards the Spintex Road, and then also at the Ofanko barrier. We'll look at traffic updates and then what's happening up there. And then we'll be talking about love across all ages. Do you know what that means?
No.
And I sampled someone's views and he says, that's dating a sugar mommy. A guy said this to me. But I don't think that's what it means. I think I know who that guy is. Is he on our team?
I beg, no
shade, no names. So guys, it's a Friday and we are looking funky and we are freaky and we are looking for updates from you. So guys, send your comments to our WhatsApp number 055-556-1034. The show is interactive. We are live on Facebook. We're streaming live on Facebook, live on YouTube, guys.
Okay. So show brought to you by Adoko Next Level Energy Drink, our Shield Acrylic Paint. We've got our Wake Purified Water Red Cotton. We've got Brobin, For men's kaftans, we've got Tigo, we've got Lufat as well. So many brands associated with this show.
Thank
I mentioned
you.
6. And talking of 6, that ties in nicely with our wisdom nugget this morning from Dr. Kofi Osei Kusi, because he's talking about 6 degrees of separation. What is that all about? You shall find out right here. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
What a brilliant morning to come your way again with the wisdom nugget for your day. And nugget a day keeps all the problems away. And we keep learning and we keep, embracing more and more of wisdom so that our lives can get better and easier and we can grow in success. And I thank you for your feedback, and we're excited here on the Breakfast Show as we share incredible nuggets of wisdom just to spice up your day. Today we're talking about the subject that I entitled the 6 degrees of separation. 6 degrees of separation. Have you heard about this phenomenon called the 6 degrees of separation? It's a really interesting one, and it's been backed up by research. What does the 6 degrees of separation mean? It means that you are only 6 people away from every single person on the face of the earth. And so you are only 6 people away from every single person on the face of the earth. It means that you're no more than 6 people away from anyone that you ever want to meet. You know someone who knows someone who knows someone who knows the President of the United States. You know someone who knows someone who knows someone who knows the biggest chief or king in the world that you ever want to meet. You are no more than 6 people away from anyone on the face of the earth. That is such a powerful truth, because one of the biggest complaints you hear from many people is that, oh, I don't know anyone. Oh, I'm not getting this opportunity because I don't know anyone. There's a help you need, or there is, some sort of facility you need, some sort of opportunities you're looking for, and you're wondering how you can meet the person that you really want to meet. But the truth of life is that you're only 6 people away from anybody else. What that tells you and I is the incredible need to treat people around you right. Not too long ago, I was speaking at this major event, and one of the speakers was there, and very simple looking person, and we engaged, and we exchanged contact, and I endeavored to set up a meeting, and we had a meeting on Zoom and so on, and this is an international person, but it didn't look so unassuming. Look so unassuming. And here's the point I want to make. After engaging the person for some time, I discovered that this person that I was sitting next to was only 2 persons away from the president of another country. Only 2 people away. I didn't know. This person is related with someone who is very close to the president of a country. So just imagine the way I treated that person and the way I treat this person. You don't need to know how connected somebody is to be able to treat that person right. The truth is that every single person is connected. It may be just an ordinary person hawking on the street. You need to treat that person right. It may be a waiter in a restaurant. You need to treat that person right. It may be a security guard. You need to treat that person right. I heard a story about this gentleman who was, a driver. And he met a banker. The banker was sharing the story. And long and short of it was that when this gentleman walked into the bank, nobody in the banking hall wanted to attend to this guy because, you can imagine, I think he was sweating and all of that. But this guy just walked to him, this banker walked to him and received him and treated him right. And guess what? 3 days later, he discovered that this gentleman was a driver and his boss was a wealthy man. And they just, I think, transferred over $3 million into the bank. And this guy was working with his target and was looking for someone to meet that target. It's the way you treat people and how you don't judge people too quickly. You are only about 6 people away from any person you want to meet, any person you want to relate with. It may even be a relationship. It's so important that you keep that in mind. We treat people right. We master the art of working with people and dealing with people. And in fact, we grow in what we call emotional intelligence, being able to relate with people emotionally correctly and being able to understand people's feelings and relate appropriately with people. And so I want to challenge you to keep in mind as you go through today the 6 degrees of separation. Who do you want to meet? What opportunities are you looking for in life? That opportunity is connected to the closest person sitting next to you. So at home or whoever is around you right now, look at that person again and tell yourself that this person is very important to me, so I'm going to treat this person right. Have a fabulous day and do treat people in an amazing way as you meet them today and for every single day of this week, of the year, and of your life. Enjoy yourself and keep growing as you learn and as you listen to these wisdom nuggets for your day.
Thanks for staying on, and thank you, Dr. Kofi Osei-Kwesi, for that wisdom nugget. We are only 6 people away from anything we want to achieve. That's really quite striking, I find it. We're looking into our social media trends, and if you've been on Twitter the past few hours, you'd notice that the word meta is trending. Meta, so M-E-T-A, is trending, and we'll find out why that is very, very shortly, because Facebook has renamed its mother company Meta. So the app remains Facebook, the one that we know, that we interact on, we meet friends. It's still Facebook, but the mother company has now been renamed Meta.
And it has 13.5 million followers so far.
13.5
million followers so far.
Mark Zuckerberg has been speaking about why they had to make the change, and I think key among them was all the controversies that Facebook has, all the negative
past
press that they've received, criticism of its algorithm and the harm it supposedly causes, and so they are trying to now move into, did I hear him say like a metaverse? I'd never heard that word until this morning when I started reading the trends.
Speak to teenagers.
Metaverse means what?
It says a place where we'll play and connect in 3D.
Play and connect
in 3D.
So, for example, if you wanted to have who is your favorite international broadcaster?
Krishna Mampo.
Yes, so you could actually have a coaching session with Christina Mampo, right? Yes, you'd be a virtual reality thing, and so she'd be there. You'd summon her up almost like a spirit. And
that is so is it like the avatar then?
Yes, so virtual reality.
Yes.
If you watch a lot of, like, the whole of the COVID time last year, I watched Flash with my kids. And in Flash, you have people in metaverses, double verse, universe, triple verse, whatever. It's
multiverse.
Go back and forth in time. So they're watching you right now. My kids are thinking she doesn't know what a metaverse is. She should come and watch Flash.
I've seen a bit of Flash because I saw Marvel's Avengers, all of it. So I sort of have a vague idea.
Alternative universes. You can go back to 1966.
Do you guys remember the Matrix? Pretty much like how the Matrix.
They want us to be living in a computer world, the virtual world. And funny thing, their symbol, that meta symbol, is the symbol for infinity. So I don't know what this man is doing.
Here's a comment. It said trending. It
stands for
it's what Meta stands for. So trending is what Meta stands for.
No, it's
trending in political figures. Make everything
for.
Trump again.
META.
1,368 tweets. Make everything Trump again. So we are seeing some figures 2005 to 2021. So we've come from the Facebook, then becomes Facebook, then Facebook becomes Meta.
Yeah.
So we've moved from their Facebook to Meta now. Facebook rebrands itself to Meta. metaverse is real. We spend more time on screen than in reality. We all have been living an internet or virtual life connected to people across the world. Now, this is what you spend your time in other than reality is metaverse.
So they're
explaining to me what the metaverse is.
That's
so if you spend more time
that's his explanation
in virtual reality than in actual reality.
Are you spending more than 12 hours on your phone?
Well, I would find it worrying if I spent more time a day on virtual reality platforms than in actual reality. So I find it quite sad. And you see, my concern would be now we're going to spend even more time on our phones. Younger people, we are going to spend more time in this metaverse. And what does it mean for real one-on-one relationships? Because I've heard people say that the phone, the internet, Facebook, these apps, they bring you closer to people who are further from you and further from people who are closer to you. And I don't know what this would mean for the dynamic of in-person relationships, but it seems like someone is saying virtual is it.
Yeah, I was having lunch with a school friend from the university and a couple of his primary school friends. And they said, look, Facebook is interesting. It's good because it's brought primary school people together. But it's also bad because primary school sweethearts are linking up, you know, and
is that a bad thing?
What, they are hooking up on dates, and these are people who are married, though. And
so if you're married, then I can understand why you would raise a concern. But if you were to re-establish contact with somebody you knew before, isn't the devil, you know?
I was talking about the married people who are hooking up.
But it's only the married people who are hooking up.
It's only the married people.
But that was what was of concern, because, okay, well, you're married, but you guys are primary school buddies from back then. You had a thing for each other, and now you are...
Really, people had a thing when they were primary school. I don't know which primary schools people went. I went to Bishop Girls. Like, there was no thing to be had.
Too goody there.
We were all girls.
Okay,
there was no thing to be had.
Okay, all right. I hear you.
unless you try Sundays, which is a even more horrible place to have anything.
You were checking out the cute boys in Sunday school when you were supposed to be reading.
No, I'm saying that because I went to an all-girls school, I didn't have that experience where I would, be in class with a boy and be, crashing and all that, unless it was in Sunday school. That's the point I'm trying to make. So we're looking at what's trending. So we've talked about Meta and the fact that Facebook is transitioning into a metaverse. They want to be known as a tech company rather than a social media company. Let's move on to the next trend. And we're talking about Ghanaian striker Raphael Dramina, who collapsed on the field in Austria yesterday, and we're hearing reports that he is in stable condition.
Yeah, we're glad he's in stable condition.
So what's the 411? You are the football freak. You follow all these things. What happened?
No, I'm not. I haven't followed that story. I'm just saying that because I've seen it on the trend, and so I'm going to try and find the details to that story. We are hearing that yesterday in Austria he collapsed, and I'm trying to find the link to that story. There's some players have been wishing him well. They've been sending some messages of support to him. So that's the striker on your screen. Sportsworld.com is wishing him a speedy recovery, and I'm still trying to find the actual link to the story so we get like details of what actually happened. But it's good to know that the gentleman is doing well, and we also wish him
well.
the very best.
Next trend.
That's him in his hospital bed after he passed on.
Okay, so according to reports, he collapsed off the pitch in the early stages of a game, and the screams of fans was what alerted players, referee, and the pitchside medics to help him out. So there was a collapse. He's doing well, according to sports director of BW Linz, Tino Vavra, and he says he could be discharged this morning. So he was rushed to the hospital after collapsing during Austrian Cup match.
Yeah.
Game was suspended. It's stable now.
The players decided not to continue with the game, so it had to be abandoned. We are seeing this. I find it very disturbing because we don't want people losing their lives when they are doing their jobs or doing what they love. And obviously, football is a passion for many people. These players are very talented, and we want them to be in optimum health. And so we are sending our well wishes as well to Raphael and the team. Did you follow the trending Bukumbanku conversations on our Facebook platforms? If you haven't, you need to go on our Facebook page and follow our page. Ghana Broadcasting Corporation is on Facebook. Ghana Broadcasting Corporation is on YouTube. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram as well. Our handles are on your screen. Everything that we do here is shared across our social media handles. Yesterday, Bukumbanku was here. Valerie, did any of your family members call you and say, hey, what? What were you doing with
everybody? He had everybody in stitches, like from the beginning to the end. But you don't realize that even though he makes that funny comments, there's a lot of sense in most of the things he says. Yes.
Taller than your father is not a two-pension. Anyways, so today we're giving away branded mugs to any of our ardent viewers who answers this question correctly. So our question of the day is rolling on your screen right now. We are asking, which year was the Akosombo Dam built? Simple enough, isn't it? So that's our question of the day. If you know the answer, send it right now to our WhatsApp number 055 5561034. 055-55-61034, and you stand a chance of winning a branded mug, a breakfast show branded mug, just for you. So that's our question of the day. Remember, this show is brought to you in partnership with Awake Purified Mineral Water, Shield Acrylic Paints, and Adonko Next Level Energy Drink. We are proud to be associated with Low Fat from the Tobinco Group of Companies, Africa's gift against malaria, and Product of the Year by the Ghana Farmer Awards. We are also proud to be associated with Red Cotton, who ably dressed Valerie and myself this morning. Red Cotton is having a half-price sale. So exciting news from the Red Cotton camp. Half-price sale starting November 1 to 6. So from Monday to Saturday, there's a sale, a half-price sale going on at Red Cotton. You don't want to miss it. You can find them on the Spintex Road and also at Okunglo in East Legon. Red Cotton sale. I don't even know what you're waiting for. This is an opportunity to grab everything that you want. It's at half price, guys. So let's go to Red Cotton. Let's get ourselves some clothes. And as we wait for all the conversations we'll be having with Ebo Taylor, all the stuff we'll be looking at in the newspapers, we are going to look at ending inequalities, and we are also going to look at love across ages. All this and more coming up in our bulletin of breakfast. So our plate is full this morning, and we are ready to serve you sizzling helpings. Right after the break, we'll continue with the conversations that you don't want to miss. Stick and stay. We'll be back.
Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show. This is the Breakfast Show.
All right, so we will tell you what we're chatting about before the break ended. In case you're just wondering what it is that you're seeing on your screen, this is GTV Breakfast, Friday edition. Conversations to come up include one on love across the ages. So what is the ideal age for getting married? What is your thought on that? I'd like to know from you. And then I'll be sitting down with Ghanaian composer, musician, high life artist, one of the the inspirators for the whole Afrobeat genre, Ebo Taylor, and they will be having a conversation with him later on the show. But for now, we're looking at and looking forward to December 1st because every year World AIDS Day is marked, and it's a day that is set aside for the world to unite in its response to HIV and AIDS and to show support for people living with AIDS and also to remember those who passed on from the disease. My guest is the Director General of the Ghana AIDS Commission, Shreme Atuahene. Good morning. It's good to have you here.
Good morning, and thanks for having me.
Fantastic. Let's talk a little bit before we talk about the World AIDS Day. Let's look at the situation of HIV/AIDS in Ghana.
Right. HIV situation in Ghana.
You can look at me. Yes. Yes.
In Ghana, actually shows downward trend. When you take, let's say, the prevalence, new infections, AIDS-related deaths, they are all declining. So in the last 5 years, we've been able to reduce new infections by 14%, AIDS deaths by 17%, and the prevalence is still below 1.7%, which is quite important.
What does that number mean? Prevalence of 1 point
okay,
something percent.
So
What does it mean?
the adult prevalence, which is the proportion of the population aged 15 to 49 who live with HIV. And so that proportion is 1.68% as at the end of last year, 2020. But in terms of numbers, if you want to look at the number HIV population in Ghana across all ages, that's from 0 to whatever, is 346,120. And that number is quite significant in terms of epidemiology.
That's about 1 in every 100 Ghanaians, thereabouts.
Yes, yes. 1 in every 100 Ghanaian. I don't know what you mean by that.
I mean, if you're looking at 300,000 people as opposed to a population of 30 million.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right. So then what it means is that these people would have to be put on antiretroviral medicine because our program goal is to eliminate AIDS by the year 2030 and achieve epidemic control. And what that means is that if we have all these people on antiretroviral treatment, the chances are that they would not develop AIDS or progress to, may have disease progression, and therefore AIDS will be eliminated.
That's a quite
completely.
That's quite an ambitious goal in
Yes.
9 years' time.
Yes.
Has anybody in the world done that? Eliminated AIDS? For us to use as an example.
Yes, you know, we had the fast track targets for 2020, which was 1990. 1990 means that 90% of all persons living with HIV must be diagnosed. And those diagnosed, 90% must be put on antiretroviral treatment in a sustainable way. And then the 90% of those on treatment must achieve viral suppression.
Okay.
Now, viral suppression is very important because it's the game changer. It is when a person is virally suppressed, which means that the viral load is at an undetectable level. That means that that person will not transmit the virus sexually.
Okay. How are we doing with that in Ghana?
As at now, viral suppression is about 71% among those who are on treatment. And so we want to bring it up. Our current target is 95, which means 95% of those on antiretroviral treatment must be virally suppressed.
Okay.
And as I said, viral suppression is the game changer because it helps us to prevent HIV transmission sexually.
Okay.
Besides that, it cuts out any possibility of anyone having disease progression or developing AIDS.
Okay, and this you achieve this with the drugs that you take every day?
Exactly, with
Okay.
antiretroviral medicines. And therefore, it is important that any person living with HIV would avail themselves of this medication,
okay,
so that they can live long and be productive. And also, if they want to have babies, they can have babies who will be HIV negative.
Even though they are positive?
Yes, they can also, even the young ones, you know, so many people have been born with HIV through mother-to-child transmission. And HIV has been with us for almost 40 years. And so you have such people who are grown-ups now, at marriageable age or even beyond. And so people ask me, can person living with HIV marry? And of course, marry someone who is HIV negative? Yes, that possibility is there with antiretroviral treatment, because if the person you are going to marry who lives with HIV is virally suppressed and maintains the viral suppressed status, then there is no way he can transmit the virus to you, through sexual intercourse.
Okay, just so pushing off that, what about two people living with HIV who get married?
Yeah.
What are the chances that their child will not get the virus?
Yes, so it's again about viral suppression. If they are both virally suppressed, then there is a high chance that the baby will not get infected during pregnancy. Now, infant infections occur during pregnancy or during delivery or through breastfeeding.
Okay.
And so we have there is a program to ensure elimination of mother-to-child transmission, ensures that in all these stages, the baby is given medication to prevent infection.
Okay.
And so we have thousands of babies who have been born by PL-HIV mothers or HIV-positive mothers who are HIV-free.
Okay.
They are HIV negative.
That's fantastic.
Yes.
And in case you just joined us, I'm having a conversation with Trema Atuahene. He's the Director General of the Ghana AIDS Commission. We're looking forward to the launch of the World AIDS Day, which is on the 1st of December. If you have any questions concerning HIV and AIDS in Ghana, you can send us a message right now on 055-556-1034. The number again is 055-556-1034. Before I talk about access to the drugs, Trema, I just want to find out, so as we speak right now, what's the most common mode of transmission of the virus, and where are the hotspots in Ghana, if there are any?
Okay, so there are three modes of transmission, basically. You have sexual contact, because in Ghana, our epidemic is a generalized one. In countries where the epidemic is concentrated, it's usually among some specific high-risk groups or most affected key affected population, like injecting drug users or men who have sex with men. But ours is not so. HIV is well established within the general population to the extent that the effect of high-risk group would still, even without high-risk groups, the epidemic will continue to grow if there is no intervention. So it's a generalized, and it is driven by heterosexual sex, and therefore 80% of HIV reinfections are through sexual contact, and besides sexual contact, as we were talking about, babies who are born by HIV-infected mothers. HIV can be transmitted through mother-to-child transmission, and so that is also the second mode of transmission, mother-to-child transmission, which is about 15% of all infections, and then 5% could be related to contaminated objects or blood, exchange of blood and blood products, and maybe organ transplantation. But in that situation, for example, in Ghana, blood transfusion it has no risk, because they normally would do thorough screening for not only HIV but other diseases, and so it is quite rare or almost impossible to have that situation in health care settings so far as transfusion of blood and blood products are concerned. However, there could be accidents in the health facilities. For example, a doctor performing a surgery on a HIV patient could accidentally, prick himself with a needle or something. But there is remedy for that. He will be given within 72 hours if the incident is reported. Will be given post-exposure prophylaxis to prevent infection.
Okay.
So
it's mainly heterosexual contact, which is 80% of the cases that cause the spread of the virus.
Sexual contact.
Sorry, sexual contact.
Sexual contact, okay. Yes. But I was just saying that Ghana's epidemic is driven by heterosexual sex.
Okay. And
that doesn't mean that homosexual sex does not contribute. It's also a very significant contributor.
Okay. And I'm just checking to see whether we have any messages here. No messages so far, but send them through. If you have any questions about HIV/AIDS in Ghana and how it's been tackled, I'd like to hear from you. What about access to drugs?
Yes,
for those who are living with it.
Yes, there are about 500 health facilities across the country that provide free antiretroviral medicines to persons living with HIV. And since it is free, patients have to go to the hospital and access. Now, HIV treatment or antiretroviral medicine is for life once you start, because there is no cure as yet. And the nature of the drugs we have requires that you take them every day.
How many drugs are people looking at?
Oh, presently we are looking at about 3. But that is also dependent on the person's condition.
So three drugs a day. Are they tablets? What are they?
Yes, so generally it's 3 tablets that they will take. And so they have to take it, as I said, every day, and it's for life. And of course, we are hoping that in the near future there will be some drugs will come onto the market which would enable them to, space out the number of times they take drugs. It could be, let's say, every 3 months, or every 6 months, or every year. But we are not there yet. Okay. Until we get there, they have to take the medicines. But the challenge is that when they become virally suppressed, usually they assume that the virus is no longer in their system.
Are they able to check by themselves what their viral load is?
Yes, they go to, it's one of the basic lab investigations doctors would do. And so they will give them lab requests to do viral load test. And when the viral load test results show target is undetectable, some of them misinterpret it to mean
no
virus again in the body. But that is not true. The viruses are there, except that the efficacy of the drug has demonstrated, suppression.
Okay.
And so the virus are there, but they are inactivated, and they are hiding in the tissues. And when you stop within weeks, 1 week, 2 weeks, they begin to multiply. And if you do not continue the treatment, then obviously you will develop AIDS and eventually die. And that is what we want everybody to be aware, because when they become virally suppressed, they no longer feel sick. They are very healthy, strong, active, can lift any weight, can do anything. And so if they had AIDS before starting the treatment, they compare their current condition to what it was during when they had AIDS.
And they think they are cured.
And they think now, good to go. And that creates a lot of problems, because if you stop the treatment and you go back, the chances are that you are likely to have developed resistance to the drugs that were given to you previously. And that will mean changing the drugs. Sometimes it will mean even if you were on first-line drugs, maybe moving you to second line. And second line and third line drugs are more expensive. And apart from the fact that you are increasing the cost of treatment, you are also exposing yourself to needless risks of drug resistance.
But I thought the drugs were free. Where does expense come in? Or is it expense to the state that is paying for the drugs?
Yes, extend to the state, extend to the donors who buy the drugs for us.
Okay, great. So on average, how many people are getting, if you spread out the numbers over a year, how many people are getting infected with the virus in Ghana daily?
In 2020 alone, almost 19,000 got infected with HIV. On daily basis, that works up to about 52
people a
day.
Wow.
But over the last 5 years, new infections had averaged 21,000. And what that means is that if it stays the same way for the next 5-10 years, we are going to get, let's say, 210,000 persons living with HIV, which will add to the current number of 346,000.
And what's the
bring it up to more than
600,000. That's a lot.
Yes,
yeah.
More than 500,000.
A million, yeah.
And we don't need that. We don't have to get to that point.
That would definitely be pressure on us.
Exactly. So we will want to bring new infections to the barest minimum, and our strategy is to reduce new infections in the general population, in young people, in key affected populations by 85% by the end of 2025. And if we are able to do that, then we would be on our way to achieving epidemic control.
Awesome.
And we need every Ghanaian to support us to achieve this this target.
Okay.
Because it's down to each one of us. When we talk about health, it's basically about the risky and protective behaviors that we as individuals adopt in life course. So from your childhood up to the day you will die, the behaviors that you adopt actually affect your health. And so if you adopt risky behaviors that will expose you to HIV infection, you should be aware that you are the only one who can change that situation. And so I always say that it is down to each individual, every one of us, to decide. If you don't have HIV now, you can decide never to have it, and you will not get it.
Let me jump in on that point. Are people less scared of dying now?
Oh yes, because people think that HIV is no longer a death threat because there is medication. Now, from what I have said about antiretroviral treatment, some people who think that they can still enjoy themselves in spite of the risk would rationalize and say, oh, after all, it's not a death sentence. I can live, I can have a normal lifespan even if I get HIV, so far as I will be on antiretroviral treatment. But
how many people died last year?
That's about 12,000 died last year.
12,000 people died?
Yeah, more than 12,000 died last year. Exactly. Yeah, 12,758.
That's like 1,000 people a month.
So yes, more than 1,000
people a month. So about 30 a day.
Yes. So it makes AIDS-related deaths. AIDS then is seen as one of the leading causes of death in Ghana.
Please give me the figure again. 12,000.
758.
12,758. Let that number sink in. Last year had 366 days. And so I'm doing my maths here. Yeah, about 34 people a day last year
yeah.
died of AIDS.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that number can come down, as you said, with responsible behavior.
Yes, significantly. If people living with HIV will remain on antiretroviral treatment and maintain their undetectable viral load status, they will not develop, they will not die. They will not develop AIDS and die. And so it is important that they do not drop off treatment. And unfortunately, so many do. So many do because of the reason, the explanation I gave earlier. They feel healthy, they know they are strong, and therefore they think skipping the drugs will not change anything. But that is not true.
That is not true, according to Treme Atuahini, Director General of Ghana AIDS Commission. We're looking at the build-up to World AIDS Day, which is the 1st of December. What have you got planned for World AIDS Day? What is our theme this year? What's the sense?
The theme this year is End Inequalities, End AIDS, End Pandemics. This is the global theme. And why is it important? COVID-19 reminds us all that throughout human history, there have been several pandemics, many of which have been defeated or ended. But COVID-19 reminds us that there are still some pandemics which have not ended, and they are still with us. And HIV is one of such pandemics. It's about 40 years since HIV started, and up till now, it is still a major global health challenge because last year alone, more than 1.5 million people globally became infected with HIV, and more than 680,000 people died of AIDS. And it is sad because in this day and age, nobody should die of AIDS because of antiretroviral medicine. But putting that aside, we in Ghana recognize that HIV is still a major health challenge, a major public health concern. And in thinking about that, you want to look at the factors that impact on AIDS or HIV infection. And one critical factor is structural. A number of structural issues determine how people can prevent HIV or manage HIV. And an important aspect of structural inequalities is, an important aspect of structural factors is inequalities. And in the case of HIV, we talk of inequalities in a number of ways. One is access to quality prevention, treatment, and care services. You asked about the access to the drugs, and I explained that about 500 health facilities across the country provide. But looking at the population, it is quite clear that 500 is still inadequate.
What would be a good number?
We will want to see that HIV medicines are made available in all health facilities, whether private or public, even to the lowest level of the hierarchy of health structure, within the health structure. And so you are looking at, let's say, CHIPS compound, so that people do not have to travel far in order to access drugs. But what the current situation means that people have to travel far. And if they do not have the means of travel, for example, having the money to pay for transportation,
then they can't access the free drugs.
Then they cannot access the free drugs. So these inequalities must be tackled. We also recognize inequalities when we talk about gender-based inequalities, There are a number of inequalities when it comes to gender. And gender here, I'm not saying woman and man. It's about the social roles that we have assigned to people based on their sex. Okay, so, and it's not only about sex, it's also about age. It's also about a number of other social variables. And so it is important that these inequalities are bridged. One specific thing that I always talk about passionately is gender-based violence, which has been found to be a significant factor, a risk factor for HIV infection, where in relationship, women's voice is quite limited in our part of the world. And so if the woman sees the man, you know, having multiple partners and would want to protect herself, her chances are limited.
The guy might force himself on her still.
Yes, okay. It is, I mean, contingent on the man's, you know, agreeing that yes, you can use a condom or not. And those things have to change in order for us to achieve the aspirational targets we have set for ourselves as a country. And so inequality is something we have to focus on in this year's World AIDS Day. And in fact, it's a global strategy.
Fantastic.
So when you look at the National Strategic Plan 2021 to 2025, inequalities are being addressed.
Okay. Briefly, because we don't have too much time, where is the launch going to happen? It looks like you have a lot to talk about on the World AIDS Day. Where is it going to be launched in this? Where is it going to happen in Ghana, and what can we look forward to?
Yes, a number of activities have been lined up by the Commission, Ghana AIDS Commission. Yeah. And in fact, all the stakeholders and partners have also lined up activities. But I can sum it up this way, that we are launching the activities of the World AIDS Day today at the conference room of the Ministry of Information this morning. And as we always do, there will be ongoing 1 month long education, sensitization, and community-based activation. Okay. So the education and sensitization would be on various media platforms across the country and in a number of communities also across the country, where we will offer free health screening, which will include HIV testing and counseling. And then we are going to have policy dialogue on key issues. For example, I see that we are facing two epidemics in this country: teenage pregnancy and adolescent and young girls, new infections, HIV infections in adolescents and young girls.
So there'll be conversations on
young women. Yeah. And so there should be some policy dialogue for us to find a solution to that situation. Okay. There are other activities that would be done by a number of our partners, and so in every part of the country where you are, some activity is going to take place. But the objective is to mobilize the Ghanaian society to unite in fighting the epidemic. Because it's been with us for a long time, and we have the tools to end it. And if we can end it, we have to unite. If we all work together, then it is possible for us to end AIDS as our objective, seek to achieve. Okay. And so we call upon everybody to support and participate. And your participation as an individual is to prevent the spread of HIV. If you don't have it, just decide that you won't get it. And you definitely will not get it, because you know what you have to do to protect you from getting it. But if you have it, then be on treatment and make sure you also don't give it to someone else, because it's only those who have it who can give it to those who do not. And if we do that as individuals, then we will be on our way to eliminating HIV in the country.
I thank you very much. Chairman Atuahini is the Director General of the Ghana AIDS Commission, and we're looking ahead to World AIDS Day. That will be marked on the 1st day of December worldwide. Thank you very much. I wish you a beautiful day, fruitful discussions, and all the best with the launch today.
Thank you.
Conversation brought to you by Lufat Tablet and Suspension, an anti-malarial medicine with 2 WHO recommended ingredients. It comes in the form of suspension and for kids, tablets for adults, used to manage malaria caused by all forms of the malaria parasite. And it's taken up a 30 ml for 3 days for effective results. It's a brand you can trust. Tobinco's premium gift to Africa against malaria. Product of the Year at the Ghana Pharma Awards 2021. Lufat Tablet and Suspension. Proud to bring you the conversation on health right here on #GTV Breakfast. Coming up on the show is the headlines with the all-female fantastic panel headed by Thelma. And they'll be looking at what's trending in the news. We have some keep an eyes that we want you to be thinking about. Temamoto Way is part of it. And I'll be having a conversation with Uncle Ebo Taylor, award-winning Ghanaian musician, composer, a high life guru. And we'll be talking about his life up close and personal. And then, hey, what is the best time to get married? Is there an age? 20, 25, 30, 50? When is a good time? Val will sit with her relationship expert and we'll talk about that. Thank you. Keep watching and follow us on social media, okay? It's Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all verified. If you see any other Ghana GBC website without, or a platform without a blue tick, it's fake, all right? Completely fake. So from warnings about fake news to a lady who's real, but she's taught me how to smile in a fake way. She says you do like this. That's a fake smile, but she has a real smile, and she's ready for you with Rush Hour. Valerie, take it away. Give them the real smile.
Studio One, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio One, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio One, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio One, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio One, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio One, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio One, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio One, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio One, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio One, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio One, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio One, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio One, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show.
Welcome. It's still GTV Breakfast, and we are rushing hour at the Flower Port area on the Spintex Road, and we're going to be talking about the progress of the flyover and also check updates with traffic and what's happening there. We'll be connecting with my guy Jay shortly, who is around the Flower Port area. But meanwhile, the show is interactive, so you can join us on the live stream on YouTube. YouTube is Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. On Facebook, it's the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. On Twitter, it's the GBC Ghana. And on Instagram, it's GBC Online. We have Alan is on my screen now. Alan, good morning. I believe you are coming to us from the Ofankor area.
Absolutely.
Can you report? I see a messed up traffic lights there.
And welcome to Ofankor in Achimota, in Sawam, heading towards the Amasaman area. What you see behind me is a slow snake-like traffic coming out from the Sawam, the interchange at Pokwasi. Through in Sawam and its environment, heading out for Achimota and Accra. It's interesting to think that the interchange was built in order to ease traffic and congestion situation around the Pokwasi enclave, but it appears that has done very little to ease the pain and stress on the part of commuters as you drive through the Pokwasi interchange and you're heading up towards Achimota and then into the Accra Business District. We arrived here earlier on and it has not changed. The traffic situation remains the same. This is a linear file. However, those coming in or those who have the benefit of the geography of the neighborhood would want to use the back roads in order to join somehow. By that doing, they avoid the interchange completely and then they come around the back roads only to show up halfway in between the Pokwasi interchange, the Ofankor area, and then travel out beyond. If I pan my camera around, I will show you those coming in from the back roads, all the neighborhoods, and making their way down towards the main road connecting the interchange and the Ofankor interchange towards the Ofankor barrier. These are those who have a good knowledge of the neighborhood or the environs, and so therefore could weave their way through the back roads and rejoin somehow. What you saw earlier, though, was behind me. I'm going to pan my camera around so you can see as it files from the Pokwasi interchange and makes its way up towards Ofankor. If you speak to commuters, their stress and what they tell you is really very painful. I spoke to someone earlier who sat in the traffic for over an hour and it is only just gone past 7. It's a 7:15 and they've sat in traffic from Pokwasi interchange towards Ofankor and they've already been there an hour. And so you can imagine what it would be like if you're now setting off from, let's say, Amasama or the environs around Amasama. In this case, you may be coming from those neighboring communities. It is absolutely unbelievable. Having sat in traffic for over an hour, I can imagine their stress. This is the traffic situation between the Pokwasi interchange and Ofankor. If you have not set off from your house yet and you have to make your way out here, please look for other alternatives. Then, if you come to the interchange, take a right turn and head out towards Amamole, head out towards Ablekuma, and then make your way using those back roads connected to Kaneshi, unless your destination will mean that you can't avoid or sit in this traffic. It really isn't worth sitting in. It is more than an hour-long traffic.
So that was our conversation and interaction with Alan, who came to us from the Ofankor area with traffic updates. The show is interactive. We are streaming live on YouTube. Look for us at the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, and on Facebook as well, the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. On Twitter, the GBC Ghana, Instagram, GBC Online. So go on our pages, like and share, and invite as many people as well to the goodies that GTV Breakfast has to offer. Also, the show is made possible by Awake Purified Water, Shield Acrylic Paint, Adonko Next Level Energy Drink. Airtel Tigo is responsible for the lifestyle segment on the Yellow Couch. Cheesy Pizza as well. Our cheesy quiz for today is, what year was Yakonsombo Dam built? You can send your answers to our WhatsApp number, not on Facebook, not on Twitter, not on Instagram, to our WhatsApp, and the number is 05555610034. And then also, Lufat is on board as a sponsor. It's still GT Breakfast. That's the hashtag to follow. We'll take a quick break. When we return, T is sitting down with the ladies to have the discussion on the headlines and what's trending in newspapers. Here's a break.
Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show.
Thanks for staying on. This show is brought to you in partnership with Awake Mineral Water, Shield Acrylic Paint, and Adonko Next Level Energy Drink. Thanks to Red Cotton Clothing for mine and Valerie's lovely outfits this morning. They have a sale from 1st to 6th of November, so check them out on the Spintex Road and also at East League on Red Cotton Clothing. You would want to get something for yourself. It's a sale at half price. Okay, so get something from Red Cotton. We are looking into the stories that made it to the papers. And as we do every Friday, I have a team of women at the table, and they will be helping us understand the issues a bit better that have been captured in the papers. So from my immediate left, Hajia Hamdatu Ibrahim, former acting chairperson of the CPP. Hajia, welcome once again.
Thank you,
and of course, Ellen Amadeko, member of the NPP communication team. Ellen, as always, welcome.
Good morning. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies. So, because we just come back from a rush hour report from that specific area, the Ghanaian Times has captured the nightmare. It's calling a traffic nightmare on Ofankor and Sawam Road. And motorist commuters decry daily gridlock. And I'll just read a bit of that story. We've seen the scenes ourselves, which Darryl reported to us a few minutes ago. The Times story saying motorists and commuters plying the Ofankor-Sawam Road have expressed worry about the growing vehicular traffic on the road. According to them, the Pokos interchange, which was thought could help address the increasing gridlock on the road, had done little to address the challenge. In an interview with some Trotro drivers and commuters, they said it was increasingly becoming difficult to travel from Ofankor to Nsawam due to the heavy vehicular traffic on the road, and said the expansion of the road would help address the problem. So they spoke to a few drivers and they expressed all these misgivings. We are seeing the pictures in the Times. We saw the video that Alan just showed us on location, and it does not look like a pleasant sight. You said you live on that stretch, so perhaps I'll start with you.
Yeah, good morning, Tolma, and good morning to my cherished viewers out there. And then I would like to take this opportunity to say a good morning to our National Chief Imam. You and I know the work he's doing, and to also say hello to a Christian who supported the building of the mosque in Agogo, Zungu. Thank you very much. That is how we are relating with our Christian brothers and sisters in this country, and kudos to the National Chief Imam. Talma, as for the Ofankor Pokwasi Road to, let's say, Amasaman, in fact, it's a challenge. I live around the ACP, so I will come out this way and then take a detour and join the main road. And after 10, you just meet the traffic. The interchange is good, but there's no expansion of the road. It's just the interchange. And before you even descend, when you are going to Kumasi, there's just a petrol shelf there. That's where the expansion ends. I think people are sort of afraid to break down certain buildings, because before the interchange, there were some marks on some of the markings on some of the buildings that they were going down, only for us to have the interchange, but the buildings are still there. So I think what will really help the interchange to maybe survive, because if there's too much traffic on the parts of the interchange, maybe I'm not an engineer, but my common knowledge will tell me that it will even add more burden on the interchange. So what do we have to do? We have to expand the road, because as soon as you get down from the interchange, then there are some people coming from, is it, I've forgotten, White House to join the main road. Some of them will dodge the traffic and then go, and then they are stuck there. And those of us using the main road are stuck just after the interchange, because it comes to 2 lanes again. Meanwhile, the other side is about three. So when it comes down, it closes. So that's where the traffic starts. I left my house. Anytime I'm coming here, I take about 30 to 35 minutes. Today, I took over 1 hour. I didn't
From
even know.
ACP to GBC takes you 30 minutes?
Yes.
Oh,
if
nice.
there's no traffic.
Okay.
If there's no traffic, you just drive. But today, there's traffic at every point, from Pokwasi interchange to Ofanko, to Achimota, to Tesano.
I'll come back.
Much.
I'll come back
So
for more of your thoughts on this.
Right.
But Ellen is no stranger to traffic for having lived in the Kaswa area for years. Do those scenes register with you a reality?
Good morning to you. Good morning to Hajia, and good morning to my. How do I even put it? Okay, so I have a family funeral. My auntie passed. So good morning to everybody.
In the family.
And yes, we are doing the funeral today. So all the Deku and allied families, of course, will be Tiffy. My condolences to all of us. Kaswa.
One of my colleagues calls it the bedrock of traffic in Ghana.
So I see the Pokwasi one and I smile because as much as everybody's uncomfortable and you are complaining, those of us who live in Kaswa and its environs, we are your seniors in this. We have been experiencing the traffic situation for years, over 20 years, more than that. It was extra worse when the road was being constructed in the early 2000s. That's for that one. You could stay in traffic for 6-7 hours. And for me, it is stuck in my brain because that was the time I was going to the university. And that was the time we didn't have accommodation in the university. Those days were the time University of Ghana was expanding. And so for a student who didn't have accommodation for first year, I had to leave home at 3 a.m. with my mother, drive all the way to Legon. And by the time I get to Legon, the first lecture is over. Because first lecture starts from 7:30 for the science students, 7:30 to about 8:30. So I get to campus after leaving home at 3 a.m. I get to campus at 8:30. And I did that continuously for a year before I got a room. And it had continued for the past 14 years because I finished university in 2006. So how many years now? The road was being constructed. And when it was being constructed, the Kaswa interchange, we all felt that, oh, finally. Then all the traffic moves from the main Kaswa, you know, the interchange area, and now it is on the way to Budumbura. Because when you leave the interchange and the expansion of the road, which they did, you go from a 2-3 lane highway into a single lane. And you can imagine today is Friday. Right from now, the traffic is building from the end of the runway of the interchange at Evanlep, that is the junction, Evanlep junction, all the way to Ewutubreku.
So it's
I don't know whether it is the engineering of the road, or they don't take into consideration the fact that you're 6 lanes into 1 lane. What do you expect? And as Hajia said, I think we are having a problem as a nation enforcing some rules. That is why I am so in love, in quote, with Honorable Henry Korte and the IGP. We need to enforce some rules. Some people decide to build on roads when they know that in the future there is going to be a road there. And I come back to the planning agencies of this country. Every area, they have planned it and they know where roads are. Even in the bush where they are now selling the land, they know where the roads are because it is demarcated on the map that in the future this is going to be a highway. N1 highway was demarcated on the map for the last 50 years. So people knew. But then people built on it. Look at how much compensation we had to pay as a government and for the N1 to be constructed. It's the same story. And we keep on doing it. People notice the land is lying fallow, and I don't know whether they think that any fallow land is meant for buildings. As we speak now, just take, because I live in Kaswa, let me use the Kaswa area as an example. I'm talking about Kaswa, Bodras, Wutubreku, Nyenyano, that whole area. We do not have any recreational activity, space for any recreational activity. There are no parks. There are nothing. So if you want to enjoy yourself, you want to enjoy nature, you have to go to the beach. And you can imagine what is also happening at the beach. They are even winning sand at the beach. So they are destroying the beach too on top. What sort of society are we building? What sort of life are we building as a country? We are all disciplined, every single one of us. Because you know that where you are buying the land, one, it's a land guard who sold it to you. So you do not even go to the original owners to know that this land is meant for a park. This land is meant for a road. And you go and build there, and in 10 years, the government has money, has access some money to come and build the road, and we have to pay you compensation too on top. And our local authorities are sitting there, and they are looking at people building. And for me, I keep on fighting. Look, my house in Kaswa, right in front of me, where there's a road, entry into the house. Somebody came to dig foundation. I went to work, coming home, I came in front of my gate. Somebody was digging foundation. And he had a permit from the assembly. That also turned into a fight. So I don't know who to blame for this matter. We are all to blame because each one of us is misbehaving.
In the Times story, they are saying that they spoke to the resident engineer on the Ofankon Sawam Road project, Benadousu, and the engineer told them that the road, an expansion was underway. But I travel that road daily, and I haven't seen any.
Is it underway
on
paper,
no, you see,
or is online?
Underway,
and that's,
because the markings I'm telling you, I spoke about, you could see some pillars behind people's building. You see, we have a challenge because we didn't construct some of the roads to meet whatever we thought we were going to do. Look at Ashoma Estate. You know, the road from ACP going through to Ashoma is supposed to be an extension of the motorway. The buildings, you can even drive and then go and meet a building. You have to take a detour, either right or left before you get.
But even that road is in bad state. The one that leads to Kwabenya,
yes,
from Pokwasi ACP to Kwabenya, it's not in good shape.
No,
beyond the interchange.
No, Pokwasi to Kwabenya is okay. It's okay, but from Kwabenya, no, from Pokwasi to Kwabenya, they've tarred the road.
No, they haven't.
They've tarred the road. I drive there every day.
Okay.
They've tarred the road. It's from
the junction
where they call Tipper.
Yes.
That's the place I'm talking about.
No, Tipper to Ashoma.
That's the place I'm talking about.
Okay, but you said ACP. That's what
I'm
saying.
Okay. So you just to give direction that when you're from ACP at Pokwasi and heading down towards
you
Kwabenya.
See, but tell me, it all boils down to planning. There are so many cars. Our transportation system is not good. Because if I'm coming to GBC, I should be able to take a bus from maybe Guel, not far from my house, straight to maybe GBC, or maybe circle, then I take another one and get down and just walk. But there's no transportation for everybody. You see a household having 10 cars. I have a car, my daughter has a car, my son has a car. So if there is a proper transportation system, I think it can
what would the proper transportation system look like
when we have
estimation?
buses that will, you can just, you bought your ticket for a week. Just like UK and US, you can buy a ticket for maybe a month to take a train. You just come, the Ayalolo is there, you just take it. And
Ayalolo started off as one of those services. I patronized Ayalolo for months. And it started off as one of those, you could load some money on the card, you get on board, you tap, and you enter. But that system has been scrapped because people complained that they were used to paying fares, and if you had your monies locked up on the card, then it's just sitting there. I still have some money on the card now that it's not being used.
But
the money is still
you have to anything that is new has some challenge. You just have to endure until we are able to straighten out things. So because you prefer holding cash and squeezing it like the way they squeeze it, that's why they are even taking the 2 CDs and 1 CD. At least we should be able to use our cards. That will even curb corruption. People who are complaining because maybe if they take, I'm not saying anybody is taking any money, they can be jostling some, that is why. If not, hiding money. If not, I have my card. I'll just come and swap. And then,
the contractor, you travel the road, and I do too.
Yes.
He's saying that they were fixing some potholes. Last year, they were fixing some potholes on the road, and that was contributing.
Which one?
The potholes were, that's exactly the question I wanted to ask.
No. There are manholes now. Because around the...
we burst a tire on our way to work.
Telma, the potholes too is a contributory factor. Because any car getting to that, it will take you time, because it's not maybe a Land Cruiser or Pajero. If you have your champion, my self car you are driving, you have to take your time, because spare parts are expensive, tires are expensive. You see, the potholes too slows down traffic.
Should we expect any changes soon?
I don't see any pothole being patched on that road. Maybe yesterday they started, or maybe last week I didn't use that road. You understand? Because look at Amasama.
From Amasama
around the station
area, so after the Pokose interchange, like you said, where the petrol station is, the interchange just descends, and then there's the pedestrian bridge, and that's where the Wahala begins. And it's all the way sometimes building up until the toll booth at Pobiman. So it's and Kaswa is teaching us that it's not going to get any better.
It's the expansion of the road.
I think it's the expansion that would take care of it. Yes. And then, of course, also doing the access road. Because Kaswa also has a lot of access roads, but it's simply not done. So when it rains, you can imagine, you're talking about manholes. As for these ones, a whole car can go in and come out. So we have to also do the access roads so that a lot of the cars will leave the main roads. Because if there are access roads to quickly get to your house, there's no need for those who live in that general area to be using the main Kumasi Accra road or the Kumasi.
I think your next distance should go to Kwabenya. Your crew should go to Kwabenya, to that
the tipper people's place,
to that roundabout, and to Medina Atomic Junction, where we call Atomic Junction.
Our producers are listening.
Because the traffic too in the morning.
And then on the very matter. Did you know why? For me, I think that it is practically gone. People are no more patronizing it. The buses are so dirty. I mean, sometimes you want a maintenance culture.
Okay.
You sit in it, and then your dress gets dirty before you get to work. So people just used it for a while, and they stopped.
Government has presented 2 million, a little over 2 million Ghana cedis to the Makola fire victims. Story captured in the Ghanaian Times, page 17. The government yesterday presented a check for 2.02 million Ghana cedis to traders affected by the fire outbreak at the Makola market on July 5 this year. So far, 98 victims have been identified and registered to benefit from the support aimed at cushioning the traders. The inferno gutted a 3-story market building with basement, resulting in the loss of about 300 jobs. Minister of Trade and Industry, Alan Tremating, at a brief presentation ceremony in Accra, said the emergency financial support was to mitigate the effects suffered by the enterprises as a result of the fire disaster. Story captured on the Ghanaian Times, page 17. Good news for the traders, yes?
Is it free or is it a loan?
So I have not read up to the point where it's saying it's a loan. So government was in discussions with Guta. Okay, so I'll get the details for that. But even if it's a loan, if it will cushion them to tide over until they are able to get back on their feet and then repay, surely that would be a good sign.
For me, it's an excellent move. Anything that would make our economy get back on track is excellent, because these traders, Mokola and all the other big markets, are the real people who keep our economy going. They are the real economy holders, as I say it. Because they go out, they sell, and they come back and take care of the family. And so when something happens to them, 1,001 people are affected in this country. You can imagine if a woman who is selling her things in her shop, she takes care of 4 or 5 children, and the shop is bent down like these shops were bent down. I have a friend whose shop was bent down, and she has 3 children. So you can imagine the stress she's been going through. So it is excellent news, excellent. But then I think they should also explain it better. If it is a loan, let them understand that it is a loan. I'm saying this because of the COVID alleviation funds that were given last year to the enterprises. You know, a moratorium of 1 year was given on the loan, but a lot of people did not get that. People went for it thinking that whether it was a grant or something. From this month, the moratorium is over. So the banks have started calling, and they're going to take their money. So sometimes we need to explain to the people that this, because it's coming from government, a lot of people feel that things coming from government is supposed to be free. It is not supposed to be free. So we should know exactly what this is. Is it a grant that is meant to help their businesses, or it is a loan with low interest or no interest so that they'll pay later? They have to know.
the story did the Time story did not say. So we will try to get.
Yes, let's find out.
That
Otherwise, if it is like the MBSSI COVID alleviation funds, now they are picking it because they have to pick it and give it to the next group of people who need it.
The president of Guta is quoted in the story as appealing to government to consider providing commercial loans to the victims to enable them resuscitate their businesses. So if that were also
so it means this is a grant.
It could very well be, but we'll try and seek clarification.
Let's find out, and not just finding out for ourselves, letting the women know.
The traders know.
The traders know exactly
and the
what it is.
timeline.
Yes, so that when it's time for them to pay back, that is if it's a loan, it does not, create issues, because when people don't understand it, and I'm saying this because of the COVID alleviation thing, a lot of people did not get it, that it was meant to be a loan. So now that the banks are asking for the money, people are actually, but what happened? Because, and of course, some of them were telling them, I sat right here in this studio a year ago, and I pleaded with everybody, because I was really involved in facilitating for some of the people I knew needed it, that this loan was not meant for your funeral cloth. It wasn't meant for your birthday. It wasn't meant for celebration because we're coming out of COVID. It was meant for the business. A lot of people I know didn't listen.
Selma, let me pick it from where she said it's not a funeral cloth or something. During the poverty alleviation, they were giving some loans to some people. So they will line up and then maybe go fill a form, and then that there's this gentleman who said, as soon as I take my loan, I'm going to buy kambu, buy shoe, and then the coordinator just said, please, you're not fit for here, just leave the queue, because we don't know why we are giving this money. On a more serious note, you see, it's a good move by the government to support the women who lost their wares during the fire outbreak, I think in Mokola. But I want to plead with authorities. We should look at our markets again and then see what can be done to reshape our markets. Thelma, when you go to Mokola market, any of the markets, you see that it is not properly organized. It's just food to fry. As somebody was selling foods here, somebody saying banchi here, somebody is frying kelewele here. So there's no proper organization.
I want to believe that initially there was, because I remember going up, you go to the market, and if you wanted a certain vegetable, they would say that, oh, they are on this side.
No, there is, but still, there's mixture of all that. So they should do it in such a way that if you are going to the border market, plantain, and just like what we have in Hachu, yam market, now Ajun Kutuku onions market. You see, let's do it in such a way that there will be accessibility. We have a market that if there's any problem, they will be blaming fire service. Fire service cannot have access to the market to maybe put on any fire in any market, maybe apart from the tier one now. All the markets are choked. They are choked. So I think we should talk to the owners of the place and maybe see what government or businesses can do to help in putting the markets in good shape, so that if there's any problem, it's not just the market too, my dear. Some areas in this country, in Accra, if there's any fire, the fire service cannot have access to, because there's no access road, they built on the roads and so on and so forth. So I think, as Helen said, let's know what the money is meant for. Maybe it's a freebies to support them. That's why maybe the chairman or the leader is asking for commercial loans for the women too. And then please, the women too should try as much as they can to stop putting fire in the markets. You see somebody cooking in the market. If here is a portion for the chop bar owners, they should be there. Because if people are selling materials, selling maybe something, and then the next thing is somebody chop bar with fire, by all means, there will be problems. So I think we should educate our women. We have market queens. The market queens shouldn't just sit down when they bring plantain and then bring it. No, they should be educating their women. This is what you are supposed to be doing every week. After 2 weeks, all women should take about 10 minutes or 20 minutes and educate their women. Please, as soon as you are entering the market, you enter, don't do this, don't do that. Some people will forget. So that's why every time there should be some orientation and reminding the people the do's and don'ts. I think that one too can help. Because people are just losing properties, and some of them are even gone to their graves because they are grieving. Some have gone for loans and they cannot pay. So I think it is in a good direction to help.
There's a disturbing development that I heard it yesterday. The Times has captured the story on page 3. 4 alleged baby thieves remanded in NIB custody. The story is saying a retired midwife and 3 others allegedly involved in the stealing and sale of babies at Atriabo and Hafasene in the Western region were on Tuesday remanded in custody of the NIB, the National Investigations Bureau, by an Accra Circuit Court. Cynthia Bayeding, 63, retired midwife and nurse, Sylvester Kwashi Nyameke, a mason, and Ediemu Bozoma, 55, a trader. Also Cynthia Kwashi, a private security officer, are expected to reappear in court on November 10th this year, while Bayeding is facing 2 counts of child stealing. The rest have been charged variously with abatement and hindrance to inquest. Prosecution led by Police Chief Inspector Simon Apiosonu prayed the court remand the accused who pleaded not guilty into custody pending further investigations. But he said they received tip-offs which would assist in the arrest of the other suspects. Some of the details, and the inspector is saying one of the stolen babies was found and is on admission at the police hospital in Accra, adding that the accused could interfere with investigations, and that's why they are asking for them to be remanded into NIB custody. Counsel for Nyameke, Bozome, and Kwashi prayed for bail and said they will not be a flight risk. The lawyer said no, they should be remanded. So it seems like a syndicate. So a group of people have come together to steal babies.
Should I take it?
Yeah.
You see, Thelma, anytime a story like this is discussed, I feel bad because I quite remember my sister in the early 80s had twins in Kolebu. When she woke up, she was told the twins died and they buried them. Till today, my sister, she's in Nigeria, she still feels the babies are alive. So anytime there's a story like this, I feel very, very bad. Some people are heartless, criminals, and the profession Helen is trying to enter. My own son, Abdul Manan, is watching me this morning. He's also a lawyer. It's difficult. Then people will say human rights. These people need to be defended in court. Unfortunately, why can you be so heartless? A woman will carry her pregnancy for 9 months, give birth to this child, and you have the guts to steal this baby and then go and sell. It's really terrible.
Ellen.
So for me, if anybody knows about this kind of cartel, and he or she keeps it to herself, I'm sure the day of reckoning, Allah will ask you why you saw it and you didn't report. Because this is the highest lesson of cruelty.
That is if they are found guilty. They've pleaded not guilty
to
the
charges. People are stealing babies. I'm not just talking about this particular one.
Okay.
But we've had incidents where people have been arrested for stealing babies, even children. But we don't even know where the stories end. So maybe if people are found culpable and jailed, announcement made that so and so were found guilty, so they've been jailed. And then we have people from the social welfare educating people on how to be very careful. And nurses, when they go for their training, they should be some orientation to let them know that if anybody is at the labor ward, please keep an eye on that child, because we have a syndicate who are selling babies because they don't have heart in their chests. That's all.
Helen.
I don't know where to start from, because this issue does not just happen to people. Actually assume that it happens to people who come from low economic backgrounds. You know, they can't take care of their children and they can't defend themselves, so their babies are stolen. But my personal experience with my firstborn, when I was in labor, a nurse whom I knew, I was a church member, actually told my mother, may her soul rest in peace, that was 9 years ago, that she should keep an eye on the child. And me being the mother in labor, or the woman in labor, I'll be taken care of by the doctors because it's instinctive. But my mother should keep an eye on the child and make sure that she never leaves the child alone with anybody. And this is not, with all due respect, a low-class hospital or a government hospital. This is also a top-class private hospital. And so we're a bit taken aback, but I was busy, in labor, so I didn't really think about it. But later on, my mother was explaining to me how come the nurse stepped on her toes. That there was, this indicates in that particular hospital that most of the nurses were aware. But I have a feeling that people who were higher in authority were also involved in a private hospital. And what they did was, because the people who came there, it's assumed that they take better care of themselves. They have money to buy all the drugs. They have all the resources to take care of the baby and the pregnancy. Their children are sold for higher prices. I had my son in 2012. At that time, they were selling children for 50,000 for boys and 30,000 for girls. This is what the nurse told my mother.
There's info if you can.
And so because that is the place where you go for your antenatal, they have your history. So they know exactly what is happening with the child. So if by God's grace you get a healthy child and it's a boy, and it fits the features of the people who want to buy it.
50,000.
50,000. That was 9 years ago.
Buy children.
Of course, this is something a nurse told my mother. We don't have proof, but she just stepped on my mother. So I bet you my first child, my mother was there. When, they came, madam, we want to go and bath your child. So I can bath my grandchild myself. And she went. Oh, madam, we have to take him to... She's following. And everything they did at that time was showing that they were finding a way of, having the child alone to themselves. Unfortunately, these are things we don't talk about. So the women and the family, when they go into labor, most of us are so concerned about getting the woman out, safe and sound. And we know that the nurses will take care of the children. And then this is where evil happened. I call it evil. Because when I think of the sort of stress I went through, and the 9 months of I keep on saying that pregnancy is one of the deadliest moments of a woman's life.
But
between the time you get pregnant,
it's also a condition that is not defined as a sickness.
Yes, unfortunately.
So it's not supposed to be something that kills you,
but it
exposes you to so many.
Yes, and unfortunately that is our bane. So the 9 months you are pregnant, those are one of the moments you are most vulnerable. Anything can happen. We are having people kidnapping pregnant women for
and this one, and then tiger eye mice.
Yes, and the woman goes through all this
just to have the baby.
And she has the baby. And then you are also sitting down at the receiving and stealing the baby. Do you remember that issue that happened at is it in Kumasi?
Yes,
Hospital? That they had the nerve to tell the mother, the father, that they have incinerated the child. They want to burn the child.
That was what they told my sister.
How can somebody's child die? And you will not allow the person to see the child. I think it is just fair that if I've gone through labor, I have given birth, and my child has died, let me see the child. In fact, in my family, we have traditions and rituals on how we bury newborn children. Why would you bury my child without informing me? And these are all ways and means that tells us that truly for me, what the nurse told me and from what we saw
it may be
in the 3-4 days I was in the hospital. It was, the 3-4 days, my mother didn't sleep. Even at night, the woman was sitting there. Because you'll be asleep and in the morning they'll come and tell you that something happened.
In my sister's case, she came to Ghana some time back. Then she came to the house, the Hajia. I said, I think I saw one of my children.
How can you do this to somebody? How many years?
I said, sister, I said, hey, this will, that Hajia, let's go and find out.
But is it enough to pick up these people, individuals, should it extend to the facilities where these persons are attached?
Wherever they are working, that's what they are doing. That's where they get their source of material from. And it's not just the children they are selling. Some people are selling placenta. Some people are selling all manner and all kinds of things.
May God forgive them.
I don't
so we need to keep an eye, because we cannot go through all the stress. And then at the end of the day, the child seriously is not sick. Somebody's family. And do you know what you are even doing to the family that is even buying the child? You don't have any idea of the genetic makeup. You don't have any idea of anything. So the child comes into the family.
It's the next dynamic I wanted to introduce. That,
yes.
Should we also start looking at those who are buying
if you can get them, yes.
Because if the syndicate is busted, they will definitely have some information on who they sold.
That's why I mentioned the midwife who is about 65 years. 63. They should investigate her past, where she has worked, all the hospitals that she has worked before, from Bolgatanga to Elibu, where she is now. That's Western region. You see, they should find out where she worked, whether there was an incident of missing child, and so on and so forth. Because this is the time we have to all rise up. We only talk about it and then we forget. We talk about it and it is gone. So because I think this is an eye-opener in such a way that we'll find out they are in courts where all these people have, the people they might have sold. Do you know, Tama? So that's why at times I tell myself, I ask myself, how can somebody give birth to a child and the child will use a knife to kill the person? Think about it seriously.
Maybe they're not there, but
that is it.
Well, some of you are responding. You are sending your own thoughts on what we are discussing. So I'll read a few of your comments. One here says, good morning. Sometimes when you want to be with the baby, the nurses will insult you and ask you to leave. I think that Ellen was alluding to that earlier on, that they sometimes, if there's anything fishy going on, they like to just take the baby out of your line of sight. So a worrying development there, but and we'll be keeping an eye on
the women who lose children like this. It's different if you know your baby's sick, or it's different if you know that the child came out with some deformities, so it is likely the child will survive. But to suddenly lose a child that you have seen, that you have given birth to, and then you sleep and you wake up and the children are not there. These women must go through some psychological, help, like her sister. No. How can she go and come back? It's still in her head that my children are not dead.
Till today.
And so how many years down the line, she's still looking for these children. And it is not fair.
Infants.
She might have other children, but I can bet you she will never forget about those two.
Yeah, and they're two girls.
Pregnancy loss, child loss, and all that. It's a taboo topic.
We don't talk from menstruation, from sex to menstruation to pregnancy to anything. We don't talk about it. We couch it in this, I don't know what it is, whether this taboo, I don't know what it is, but that is the source of our life.
That October is actually pregnancy and infant loss awareness month as well. So it's a month. Today is the last official day.
I'm just hearing
in October. So there's a lot that people do not know when it comes to child loss. So the trauma for the parents.
Tim, I don't know whether it's GTV that they did a documentary about a mental health lady who had a child.
I haven't seen it.
Yes, just 3 days ago I saw it on one of the television stations. And then she didn't even want anybody to touch her child. That's it.
Yes, I think I saw that story.
So can you imagine somebody who is not mentally sound? She is particular about her child. Let alone somebody.
We will be monitoring this story very, very keenly. And
it's
then
very, very important. I think your outfit in Western region.
You never did.
My second child, I didn't go back.
No, I think GTV should follow up the story in Western region and then make sure, because Ghanaian Times has just reported it. I think we should follow up and find out.
Because we would be needing further details. Where they found it, how many children
they have sold so
are
far.
Are they accusing them of selling?
Yeah.
And it would be interesting to find the fact sheet for that case.
Very important.
Because you mentioned mental health, let me just, we might not get the opportunity to go into details, but the graphic leads this morning's paper with the increased investment in mental health care, CSO, so a call for government to put more funds into mental health care. And I just wanted to say that in relation to what you said about the woman with mental health challenges who had a baby and would not let anyone touch the baby. So get the details of that story.
Where are you taking my child to? Wherever you should be following.
But then the one who has given birth, you don't even have the strength to do that.
Yes.
You know, I mean, especially those who
what
have
I'm saying
CS.
is that what I'm saying is that
So the
yes,
family,
of course,
those who go with them.
what I'm saying is that a normal human being, somebody who is not well, look at how she's particular about her child.
Yes.
Let alone somebody who is mentally
But Hajia,
sound.
what I'm also trying to say is that when you have a child,
And
you the mother,
by all
for
means,
24 hours,
you cannot do anything.
there's nothing you can do.
So get people around
yes,
to
get people
monitor.
around to monitor. And that is where they take
But you
advantage
see,
of
Helen,
the women.
Helen,
when they're all by
people should be
themselves.
responsible. Nurses and doctors are there to make sure people are safe in their facilities. So
Unfortunately.
if maybe you are
they not the ones who are compromised,
Telma,
allegedly
maybe if
in
you are
this
in
case?
Bichartanga, you are from a Volta region, isn't it?
No,
But Eastern region, and then you reside in Bolgatanga because of the work you are doing. Or maybe you, in my town, Kumbongo, you don't know anybody. So there shouldn't be a facility that will be able to
So
take
these,
care of.
the institution they hold
Yes, we should
a
hold the
responsibility
institution responsible
to keep you safe.
And some of the rules at the government institutions, I find it very draconian. That a man cannot go and see his wife when she's having a child.
No.
So there are issues where there's no other family. It's just the husband and the wife.
And I'm not holding brief for anybody. In their defense, they say that sometimes there's no space. 3-4 people, women are in labor at the same time. And if they allow the husband in, you're going to see 3 other women.
The man whose wife is also in labor, what is his business with somebody else? He's thinking about
they're trying to protect
I mean,
people's
that's why I'm
privacy.
saying that it is
an argument.
draconian. So
It's
if
an
the
argument.
woman is just with the husband, as Ajia said, they have moved from where they have family. And it is just the man who has to take care of his wife. The man has to stand outside and wait. So during that period that he's standing outside, if anything happens, he has no idea.
Institutions should be taken up when maybe there's a problem in their facilities.
Institutions should be taken up, and a call for government to provide investments, to increase investment into mental health is the key story in the Daily Graphic this morning. And they are making the case through the position in a paper titled "Why Ghana Needs to Invest More in Mental Health." The CSO says funds were urgently needed to implement mental health legislation and scale up the country's implementation of the mental health policies and strategies. And so you can find details of that story in the Daily Graphic, today's edition, starting from the front page to page 3. Because there are women here, I just want to touch on the issues. Saying something spot for human trafficking, and that story is captured on page 16. I wish you could go into that, but girls are also in the news this morning. The Finder is telling us on page 5 that 4,937 girls are back to school after childbirth. Ellen will be very, very excited. 537 are in primary 4, 5 and 6. We are being told that these girls are back to school after having children. Yes, so this is data from the Ghana Education Service. So it's not somebody who is making it up.
It's good news, but I think we should also try and educate our children. We should talk to them because they are supposed to be in school.
Their children, who is making them pregnant? I'm asking Ellen's question.
You see, it's children having children. You see, so it's difficult. If you have a situation whereby you don't have a family that can take care of the child, how do you go back to school? So I think from class 4, you know, some of them in class 4, they start to misbehave because they are you see, so we should talk to them. We should let them know.
So a few of the details that the Finder is capturing is out of a total number of 2,649 students in the junior high schools, JHS, they returned, and then 1,700 51 students also returned at the SHS level. So the regional breakdown: Ashanti region 982, Eastern region 714, Central 675, Volta 519, Greater Accra 260, Upper East region 252, Western 248, Northern 110, Bono 217, Oti region 217, Bono East 164, Upper West region 138, Ahafo 116, Western North 100, Northeast region 50, Savannah 44, and that's the original breakdown of girls who went back to school after childbirth, according to the Ghana Education System.
I'm sure that is why they started giving our young children some medication at the primary school. Because my sister went to school and brought some medicine. In Bolga.
What medicine?
Family planning. Class 4. Was it class 1? Without even informing the parents that maybe this is what we are giving your children. The child brought it home. And then we looked at it. I even have it in one of them. Family planning. Class 5. Class 6.
Birth control for primary school children.
Yes!
Ellen, what are your thoughts on this? At least the girls are back in school. That's a good thing.
No stigmatization. People should allow them to go to their school.
I think there are enough, that there are so much that nobody will even stigmatize anybody, because they all know what they go through. The children who are getting pregnant, they are a lot. Almost every year.
You know, some
to
make fun of them.
I agree, but then for them to be back in school, I think is an excellent decision.
Good.
You know my position on these things and on family planning and giving information. Just yesterday, I was talking to my sister about her daughter, who is 10 years and is in class 3. Well, almost 10.
Ladies, hold your horse on this one for me. You know, when we started the conversation about the women who had been given monies, you asked a critical question of what kind of money is it. We've managed to get in contact with the PRO for the Ministry of Trade and Industry, and he's joining us on the line now with some answers. Good morning, Mr. Prince Boating. Welcome to GTV Breakfast.
Your panelists and your cherished.
Great. So the Ghanaian Times has carried a story this morning on page 17 about the government releasing some monies to traders who were affected by the Makola fire. And we want to find out what kind of, is it a loan or is it a gift?
It is a grant, my dear sister.
It's a grant.
Yes, this is a very unfortunate incident, and the government felt that, especially in these hard times where by COVID everybody had, the little we could do for these our women was to support them in this manner. So it is a grant, not a loan.
Okay, and explain to us, for those who do not know what a grant is. They do not have to pay back because the nature of a grant means it is free, right?
Exactly. If I could go by your way, it's free. It does not also mean that because it is free, they can use it anyhow. This is an unfortunate incident that befell them. This is their sort of livelihood. And so we wanted to empower them to be able to get back on their feet. And so the hope is that they will use it judiciously to be able to get back on their feet. And in so doing, we made sure that we collaborated with their mother association, that's the Ghana Union Traders Association, the Makola women, and also they are being this whole thing is being facilitated by the Ghana Enterprise Agency. You know, that is the umbrella body for the promotion of medium and small scale enterprises in this country. And so enough training, enough education, sensitization has been given them, and the hope is that definitely we are going to reap the desired benefits from this candidate.
Okay, the story is saying there were 98 victims and about 300 jobs were lost in that fire. The money is 2.02 million Ghana cedis. Who determines who gets how much?
Thank you. So if you recall, when the President directed my minister to ensure that we are able to support these people. I accompanied my minister and other people to visit the victims. And then when we went, we took it. A committee was formed, chaired by the former mayor of Accra, Honorable Ni Eji So. And so the committee was also inclusive of representatives from the Traders Association, that is GUTA, and the Makola people themselves, and other government institutions, including the National Disaster Management Organization. And so we went on the ground, did an assessment of the affected area, took inventory of the affected shops, and that is how come we were able to come up with the figures that we've come up with. So this is really a collaborative effort, and everybody that matters was involved. You will recall that the very building that we are talking about, the fire started from the top and it came down to the ground floor. And so where it started was the area that was heavily affected. And all those things were taken into consideration. So the level of damages and the goods that were in and all those things were taken into consideration. So we categorized them into 6 classes. And based on that, that is how come we did the assessment, and then everybody got what was due. And I can assure you, if you listen to the victims and the interviews they granted to you, my friends and colleagues from the media, you will see that they were very much appreciative of the support that we've been able to give them.
You've spoken about the hope that these monies will go into people's businesses, but how are you going to ensure that they actually do so, and that, as Ellen has said earlier on, it doesn't end up being used for funeral clothes and parties and whatnot? Who's monitoring where the money is going?
Yes, and that is how come the Ghana Enterprises Agency have been involved. And so they are working together with them in terms of advising them on their business, in terms of their bookkeeping, in terms of everything. So in terms of monitoring is ongoing. It is not necessarily about the monitoring per se though. It is about getting them to understand business principles, and for them not to think that, oh, this is my own business, I'm only in the market selling, and therefore this one there. No. It is for them to take it as a serious thing. And you know one thing, my dear sister Selma, these people, they are more serious than some of us. We the supposed enlightened, and we think that we know everything. My dear, these market women, the kind of things they know and the kind of practices they put in place, I was very amazed when we interacted with them, and I have every confidence that they will put the money to the right use. And especially when we brought other government agencies that are supposed to assist in getting them to be on their feet involved, the hope is that they will bounce back fully, and we will all get to benefit and know that government has not thrown our money into the dustbin.
It remains a challenge, the fact that traders do not have insurance policies. What's the engagement on that level going forward, so that in such instances, government will not have to dip its hand into its own pockets to sort these traders out, but they can have the means to do so themselves?
Yes, that is another level of the engagement that is ongoing. Series of programs and discussions are ongoing between us and their umbrella bodies to, among others, get them to appreciate this and get the insurance bodies themselves to also come on board. In our interactions with some of these insurance businesses, they've raised issues, and you know, especially when we are talking about these institutions like the Market Women Association and the kind of perception that we all have, it makes it a bit difficult for some of these insurance bodies to want to go into that. However, they are shining examples of some of them that I do not want to mention by using your platform to advertise them. But I'm sure that the examples that we see from some of them, it will be something that we hope they will all come on board. The discussion are going. You will also recall that it is not just about that. It is also about getting them to get access to affordable loan facilities to be able to scale up their businesses and not just remain at the small and medium level. And so you recall that my minister hinted that discussions are also even underway to get a traders bank. These are all some of the long-term things that we are thinking about as part of the industrial transformation agenda, because if we are talking about one district, one factory, where we have about 106 factories that are up and running now, fully operational under the program, in as much as we are lucky that the African Continental Free Trade has come and therefore we can export to the wider African market and to other parts of the world, a chunk of it was consumed by the local people, and therefore getting the right framework for these our traders and other people to come on board so that the whole value chain will be complete is something that we have to take a serious look at.
Mr. Boateng, you've sorted out victims from the Makola fire. Should Odona traders also expect same, since it's also a fire situation and they've also lost their wares in an inferno?
Yes. In fact, this has come up as part of our discussion, and I know that some other groupings are being considered as well for similar packages. I wouldn't want to be the one to disclose what should come from my boss, and so I want to hold on for now, and I'm sure that at the appropriate time, my boss, the Honorable Minister for Trade and Industry, will make a public announcement on that. Thank you so much for sharing a part of your morning with us this morning, for clarifying this issue. I appreciate the opportunity. Well, thank you. Have a pleasant day. We've been talking to the PRO of the Ministry of Trade and Industry, Mr. Prince Boateng, and he's been clarifying for us a story captured in the Ghanaian Times, page 17, about government presenting an amount of 2.02 million Ghana cedis to victims of the Makola fire. The PRO just told us that it is a grant, which means it is free, it is not a loan, and they just want to cushion the traders after the unfortunate incident where they lost. There was a three-story building. Fire started at the top of the building, came down to the basement, wares were lost. The PRO tells us that data was taken, an assessment was done, and it determined how much each victim got. The Ghanaian Times told us 98 victims were affected by that fire. So the PRO is saying needs assessment was done, and that determined how much each trader was going to get. We asked a question about who was going to monitor to ensure that the monies were going to be used for the purpose. He's telling us the Ghana Enterprise Agency has a system in place, and they are hopeful that the traders will comply and put the money in their business. Attempts to get traders insurance, attempts to get them affordable loans are also being considered. He's also telling us that other groups are being considered for a similar package, but he's not at liberty to mention any groups now. We specifically asked about Odona. He said the minister will make an announcement when there is one to be made. A collaborative effort. He has commended all the partners, and we are grateful for the time spent with us. So all our questions have been answered, yes, hopefully.
And I'm happy it's been cleared up. As I said, I didn't want people to confuse it. So we thank the Ministry of Trade and the minister and everybody involved in the government. I mean, it's a good call. And I would beg the traders. As I said, I have family, friends in there. So basically, it's the women who are there. So I beg them. As the PRO said, they have such knowledge in business, so I do not expect them to be using it for funeral cloth. Okay. Those who have the intention of doing so, please don't disgrace government. Don't disgrace us. I beg, use it for what you are supposed to use it for. So that at least it will encourage everybody and the government to also do more for all of us, because it's disheartening when government gives out such monies and you see that it doesn't have the effect that you want it to have. Right. I'm trying to go through a few of your messages because we have to wrap up very quickly. You haven't finished with your girls. I'll give you the opportunity. Here's one that says, good morning, GC Breakfast. Some nurses also change women's babies. At times, a woman may give birth to a baby boy and it will be changed to a baby girl. Things like this happen. Inspector Kupu sent us that message. And let me reiterate, as I do all the time, that
comments and the suggestions that people sent to us represent their own views and not the views of GBC. Another message, my brother's wife was in labor and my brother was with the wife, and the midwife came and was insulting my brother whether he's the one going to deliver his wife. So sharing some, my name is George, baby sold 50K for boys and 30K for girl. What is the meaning of K? K is 1,000. So 50,000 for boys. We need congestion charging to be able to manage traffic in Accra. If you have to go to Accra, you pay for congestion charge or you pick a bus. So I'm particular. I'm for the congestion charge. So a few of those your comments, I've tried to read some of the ones on Facebook as well. But we are on the issue of the girls going back to school. We have to finish very quickly. But so Ellen, I would allow you to finish making your point.
I have so much to say, but let me just go straight to it. I've seen it. I'm actually living with the effects of having a child that gives birth to a child. When I moved to Wenchi to work, I had to get a nanny. And my nanny's daughter had a child at 12 years. So when I got there and I picked her, and she's the only child, she was home with this baby. So you can even see the person who is having a child. So I had to practically adopt that baby, add that girl to my children, and let her go back to school. So I'm sure she's one of those in the statistics. She's in GSS 3 now. She's going to write exams. And so you might think that it's none of your business. But it is your business, because if my nanny is not happy, she will not take care of my children. So right now, I have an adopted daughter, whether I like it or not. And it also tells me, and I keep on asking the questions, who impregnates these girls? People are saying it's their classmates. With all due respect, a 10-year-old boy, and I have boys, it's not yet matured to...
some people mature
Some do, but I mean, seriously, how many 10-year-old boys...
No, it has changed.
Well, things are, but let's look at the statistics and what the Ghana AIDS Commission even said, that we have a lot of older men who are actually impregnating these children. At a class 3 or a primary 3, a primary 4-year-old child is between the ages of 9 and 10. So the men who impregnate them, we should look for them, because there must be something wrong with you in your head to want to sleep with a 10-year-old child.
You see, first of all, if a child is found to be pregnant in a school, we should have to do DNA on all the male teachers.
I think so too. I agree. And then we go home
DNA test
and all home and including
now there's a system more. You just the pregnancy
everybody in the home should also
the women are on fire this morning. We've been looking at all stories.
Just test, and then the man's face will show.
I just know that when it comes to the issue of children, it will get the panel
we
buzzing.
need to think about doing something.
Because cannot be chasing.
And we must also surely commend the Ghana Education Service, because
I watched a film yesterday. A stepfather impregnated the stepdaughter.
But that was a movie. It's not.
No, that's what I'm saying. Fictional. No, it's happening. You see, and then they were trying to accuse the houseboy. That is the houseboy who impregnated the man. The woman said, no. I have to know. And the man said, no.
Okay.
And if they are alone,
so
please keep the pregnancy.
I just want to make a point that perhaps we must commend the Ghana Education Service for doing more to get girls to go back to
school.
And
now we allow them to write exams. At first they were not allowing them, but now they are writing exams.
So a lot of the stories we could not touch on at the table. Patients stranded in hospitals as the Health Service Workers Union laid down tools. So a strike going on. The Ghanaian Times have captured that story. Yes, health service workers are on strike. The fact that some people don't even know. But some patients are stranded in some hospitals. We've spoken to some of our correspondents during our news bulletins. They are telling us that the nurses and the doctors and those who are at other posts are really struggling to offer the quality health care that we need. Another story captured on the Finder: over 65,000 students benefit from free TVET under free SHS. Dr. Baumia is telling us that the Vice President of the country, Daily Analyst, we won't watch people tear EC down for no just cause, as EC refutes Mohammed's 1 million ballot staffing claims. That story is also in a Daily Analyst. We did not have the opportunity to go into those details.
As we are closing, please,
as we are closing, 20 seconds.
Greet my people, the way the messages are coming. Okay. All my people and all the MPP people in Obuasi East constituency, especially Manuel, Ekuban, Texan. Good morning, and please keep on doing what you are doing.
What are they doing? I'll come to that.
Oh, they are doing
20
everything.
seconds.
You know, I mentioned that a Christian brother helps in building a mosque. So somebody said a Christian, there are so many. So he's called Ohene Kwame Frimpong.
Ohene Kwame.
Salt Media or something.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So thank you very much, Talma.
And thank you for spending. It's almost 8:30.
Oh, well, really? Is
Yes,
that so?
yes, it's almost.
But then the
8:30,
girls'
so
issue. Next time, let's talk a lot
let's
about
talk a lot
it
about the girls' issue.
It's
We'll
an
do
issue.
DNA, we will
all
do
the male teachers
Hajia
and the males in their house too.
and their house
former
too.
acting chairperson CPP calling for DNA testing. Ellen Amadeko, member NPP communication team. Thank you, ladies, for coming. And thank you for sharing your thoughts with us across our social media platforms. We are gearing up to listen to a legend from Ghana to the world. And CAF is ready to have that conversation. You do not want to miss what Uncle Ebo Taylor has to tell us this morning. We'll be right back.
Please, I've not killed anyone. I just do galamsey.
Your Honor, since the accused has been in the dock for a while, please permit me to serve him some water to drink.
You promised to give me water. This water is coming from the gutter. It will make me sick.
Your Honor, that is it. Due to the galamsey activities of the accused and his cohorts, they have polluted all our water bodies. See, this water is coming from our taps. They have destroyed all our forests, and above all, the activities are killing people.
Mr. Eja, you have been found guilty of indulging in galamsey. And since you don't want to mention the names of your bosses, you have been sentenced to 25 years in prison. This is my judgment.
Please, I will talk. Mr. Francis is bad. Mr. Mountain is bad. Mr. Usu, please, Your Honor, please.
Yenjai galamsey. Yenjai galamsey.
From live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, Live from GBC Studio One, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio One, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio One, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio One, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio One, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio One, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio One, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio One, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio One, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio One, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio One, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio One, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio One, this is the Breakfast Show.
What was going on the screen, you'd have seen the gentleman in the brown outfit with the hat playing the guitar. He's my guest on GTV Breakfast. He's a guitarist, composer, band leader, record producer, arranger, and he specializes in high life and Afrobeat. The award-winning Ebo Taylor. Good morning, Uncle Ebo, and welcome to the show. Good to have you here. And congratulations. The last week you got an Emmy Award.
Yeah.
How does that award and other awards make you feel?
Well, it makes me feel elated.
It makes you feel elated?
Yeah.
You're not tired of receiving awards?
I'm tired.
You're tired now?
Yeah.
We should stop giving you awards.
Yeah.
Welcome to GTV Breakfast. Today we're going to find out a little bit about you, the stuff that people don't really know about, because we all know that you've played around the world. You are more popular for some strange region abroad than in this country, but you have made contributions to Ghanaian music. We'll talk about that in a short while. But I just want to find out, what was the role of music when you were growing up? Did you come from a musical family?
Not exactly, but my father was a choir master. My mother belonged to a class of people who like to sing in public.
Okay, all right. And so these are kind of influences that shaped you. So what kind of songs were you singing when you were young?
The song that the average boy sings.
Okay. For somebody born in the 21st century, they won't know what you were singing in the early 40s, because you were born in 1936. So you were a 6-year-old back then, maybe early 40s. Can you give us a sense of what you were singing at that time?
I don't remember.
You don't remember? It will come, don't worry. Who inspired you to become a musician, Uncle Ebo?
Circumstances belonging to my school, you see, I didn't intend to be a musician.
Okay.
But my senior brother taught me to play guitar.
Okay.
And whilst at school, I became famous.
You became famous?
Yeah, for playing the guitar.
The girls liked you?
Like school level.
Okay. You became famous in school?
Then I became more popular when I left Form 5. And I had to wait. Those days, you have to wait for 6 months or 3 months to come to sixth school. Whilst I was waiting, I became a guitarist somehow.
Okay.
To a band that wasn't so popular.
Okay. So it's your brother who is actually responsible for your career as a musician?
Yeah.
If you were not a musician, what would you have been? What do you think you would have been?
I don't know if I could have been an engineer.
An engineer?
Or a doctor.
Or a doctor. Yeah. Okay, so it's a science kind of career. But
yeah.
Is it interesting to you that you are now in the arts, although you may have been a science person as an engineer or a doctor?
Yeah. Sometimes I think about it. If I had not been I really think I should have been an engineer.
You should have been an engineer. But in a way, musicians are also engineers because they put things together, you get the chords and the harmonies, and you build something, and then we all enjoy it.
Yeah.
So you became an artistic engineer.
Yeah.
Was there any choice of a name, a stage name? Because Abel Taylor is your real name, right?
Yeah. My name is Deroy Taylor.
Deroy Taylor.
I was named after a Catholic priest. But eventually, I found people calling me Ebo. So I called myself Bo Taylor.
Okay. All right.
And at one time, I happened to be in an audition with a band in London, and when the guy saw me, he said, "I thought you were a white boy." No. Then I got confused.
Because of the Deroy Taylor, they thought you were white?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I had to change my name to make it sound natural.
Okay. So Ebo Taylor.
Yeah.
Okay. And how important is being African to you as part of your identity?
Yeah, 100%. An African with an African name.
Describe your music. What kind of music do you do for somebody who hasn't heard of you before?
What?
What kind of music do you perform? What's it called?
African music.
Finish.
Yeah.
That's it.
Anything African.
Okay. Anything African is the sort of music. Which musician do you admire most?
Miles Davis.
Miles Davis, the jazz trumpeter.
Yeah.
Why Miles Davis?
Miles had an appeal as an African. He spoke like an African. He always wanted to be seen as an African musician. Yeah. even in identity, he spoke as an African.
Did you ever meet Miles Davis?
No.
But if you had met him, what would you have told him?
I would have told him, you are my brother.
Simple.
And he looked like my brother, Kwekwata. He's got the same eyeballs.
Yeah, the big bulging eyeballs.
And he behaves
like him.
Like him.
That's Miles Davis on the screen right now, playing the horn.
Yeah,
on
yeah.
the left, yes. so you'd have said that's my brother.
Yeah.
Okay. When you were active as a musician, because I think the last time you played guitar was 2 years ago, when you were 83 and now 85.
Yeah.
Who would you consider your main competitor back then when you were performing?
Locally?
Yes, locally and then internationally.
I didn't see competitor.
You didn't see any competitors?
No.
Okay. How about internationally?
Well, I wasn't in the international rating, but I always felt I was thought to be a maestro in African music.
Mm-hmm. Because you're connected to so many people, Fela Kuti, Thomas, and the whole range of CK Man.
Yeah.
And then of late, from about the 2010s, your music started being sampled by musicians from different genres.
Yeah.
So I know Black Eyed Peas sampled some of your music. Kelly Rowland sampled some of your music. Carlos Santana, the great guitarist.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel that people are discovering your music and then basically making you a co-writer to the music that they do by sampling your sound?
I was getting closer to European music and Afro-Cuban music.
Yes.
When I began to write strictly, I found that my colleagues were not playing the kind of music I always play.
Mm-hmm.
So I started breaking away from African grassroots music into European Macedonian.
So it kind of widened your appeal.
Yeah.
Because you start playing the music that other people would now probably embrace.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you surprised, therefore, that a lot of Ghanaians don't really play your music? I was searching on Twitter, Ebo Taylor, and I was looking at videos, and people are saying, I'm seeing references to radio stations from all around the world who are playing your music, but I rarely saw any Ghanaian radio station play your music. Does that surprise you?
It doesn't. I intentionally broke into that era where my music is not representative of my country.
Okay.
I rather play music well, I like to play music in a role like a foreign artist trying to play African music.
Okay, okay. So you're not too bothered about the fact that you're not really played here, as long as people are listening to your music.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So, as a musician, what do you enjoy most in your work? What do you enjoy most?
Playing my music.
Playing your music. You love it.
Yeah.
You listen to yourself. I know a lot of musicians who don't like listening to themselves. After they record, they don't want to hear it again. How about you? Do you listen to your own music and think, oh, maybe I could have done something better?
I want to listen to myself in some breaks and continuity of what I play, so that I enjoy playing myself.
Yes, I can see. The way your hands are curved like that, I'm sure you're imagining your guitar, because the way you're doing that.
Yeah.
How you haven't played guitar now for about 2 years? You missed that?
Yeah. Once in a while, I ask my children to bring my guitar. I play, and I don't play as good as
before.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we can excuse. And you're 85. I don't know how many 85-year-olds.
Yeah,
still play
yeah,
music.
yeah.
So we thank God that you're still able to appreciate music and enjoy playing it. How did your career affect your family? Because I must imagine that you must have traveled for long periods. You were away from home for a long time. How did that affect your family?
Well, you can ask my wife.
I can ask your wife.
How she sees me come in and go out, and my children. Sometimes I look at them, and I have a pity on them.
Oh, why?
When I'm around, the crowd around me listen to the words I play.
Meaning they missed you. They missed you when you were away.
Yeah.
And then they're happy to have you back.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, let's take a spot of music right now from your own music, and even some of the people who sampled you, to get a sense of how people are using your music. So if you just joined us, you're watching #GTV Breakfast. I'm here with the legendary Ebo Taylor, who is guitarist, composer, band leader, record producer, arranger, and his field was high life, or is high life and Afrobeats. Let's check out some of his music and see how people have used his music all around the world.
Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show.
Guitarist. This song is called Love and Death.
Yeah.
What a combination. Eh? Love and death. What's the story behind this song?
The story behind it, Auto you.
Although you.
Although you. How do you explain that?
Okay.
The black man says, although you. The white man, according to according to the white man, I don't know what it means, but what I know is an African always say that, or do you? Then I began to ask myself, what is a do? I keep hearing it, and I doubt its meaning.
So instead of saying love is death, you say love and death.
Yeah. I don't know how to link the two of them. But when I was writing this song, my heart was almost broken.
Who was responsible for that?
I wouldn't know, but I thought staying away too long, my heart broke it. Yeah, and it has some
Okay.
Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show.
So it has a the founders of the Afrobeat genre. Would you consider yourself one of them?
Yeah, one fella started talking about Afrobeat. I told him that we play this kind of music way back in Ghana. He asked me to indicate what kind of music I would call in Ghana Afrobeat. And I told him Kokwanasi.
Kokwanasi, straight. Yeah, same rhythm.
Or you. I mean,
those are the Afrobeat.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
But he, being a Nigerian, had a different view of an Afrobeat. But when I was in conference with some of the Nigerians in Lagos, one of the musicians said he was the pioneer of the Afrobeat. Well, a fella had died, and I believe the guy, because any song the Nigerians played resembled the songs fella used to call an Afrobeat. Well, Afrobeat can be said to be Nigerian.
Okay. All right.
The Nigerians used to mess each other with the give me you see.
So they have the Afrobeat. Maybe we have our high life. Is that it?
Yes,
You should keep the Afrobeat and we keep our high life, or you can blend it together when we are performing, because music is music, really.
I don't see that. But Afrobeat is not the beat, it's the song.
It's the words.
Yeah.
And the melody.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Briefly, before we run, where would you have liked to travel? You performed all over Europe. Where would you have liked to go that you didn't go? Which country would you have liked to perform in?
Peru.
Oh, you'd have liked to perform in Peru, South America. Why?
Yeah. I like the music that comes out of that country.
Okay.
Anytime they play
Peruvian music.
Peruvian music, I got up.
Okay.
It sounds like a factory music.
Maybe our people went there.
Yeah. But,
what was your worst performance? A performance where when you looked at the audience and, man, I shouldn't have come here. You remember?
Yeah.
Where?
Southern Germany.
What happened?
There was nobody at the dance. People they just see the difference between our music and their local music.
So there was nobody at the place when you went to perform?
No.
You performed to chairs?
Yes, yeah.
Did the chairs enjoy the music?
Nah, nobody enjoyed the music.
How long did you performed for how long? I mean, empty room. You did how many songs before you stopped?
About 6 songs.
Wow.
Then I got fed up, and I told the guys to back up.
You played 6 songs in an empty venue?
Yeah.
But was your playing good? Do you think you played well, even though there was nobody there?
No.
We need people, right?
Yeah.
The people need to be there for you to enjoy. Okay, quick, before I run, who would you have liked to perform with? Who would you have liked to done a collaboration with in your career? Or are you looking forward to doing a collaboration with at this stage in your career?
This boy.
Ghanaian?
Kinata, one of them.
One of them is Kinata. You like to work with Kinata?
Yeah.
Who else? Does he rap or he sings?
He sings.
Is it Kwame Eugene?
No.
Kidi?
No.
Achami Kwame?
Yes.
You'd like to do something with Achami Kwame?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've done some with him.
You've done something with him before? Yeah. And you'd like to do it again? Is he a young person, this person you're thinking about? Is he young?
Somebody should be...
Is it Akwaboah?
No.
Okay.
Akwaboah sounds wild, too wild.
Akwaboah sounds too wild?
Yeah.
You don't want a wild collaboration?
No, I want somebody with original Ghanaian lyrics, with original Ghanaian flavor.
Kwabena?
No.
Any women? Should I think of choice? Or still a man?
No.
You don't want to work with a woman?
The woman I would like to work with is no.
No? No. What came in your mind and you said no? Jerry's sister, married to Pat Thomas. Married to Pat Thomas?
Yeah.
Nanaya?
No.
No, Nanaya is Pat Thomas' daughter.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nanaya. It's the mother.
Nanaya's mother. Lola Everett?
Yeah.
You would like to work with Lola Everett?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
You like calm collaborations?
Yeah.
Nothing to do with the dance hall. Do you like dance hall?
Not very much.
Not very much.
No.
You don't? Why? Why don't you like dancehall?
I think my ideas don't fall in line with dancehall
boys.
Yeah.
You're not there?
No.
Okay. As we wrap up, I mean, one day, I was just thinking on my bed that in 100 years' time, none of us in this room will be around. So let's fast forward to 2121, when none of us will be alive. Yeah. What would you want the young musicians to remember about you in that era, 100 years from now?
Oh, nothing.
You don't want to be remembered?
They would like to remember me. No.
You don't want to be remembered?
No. What exactly do you mean by?
I mean, would you want to be remembered as a great musician, or even just how would you want people to remember you? Your family? How would you want your family to remember you when you are no longer here?
Oh,
yes.
Like Miles Davis. Like Miles Davis.
You want to be remembered like Miles Davis?
Yeah.
And what does that mean?
Well, he is too proud and anything about Miles Davis that you remember.
Okay. But, so you want to be remembered like Miles Davis?
Yeah.
But you don't look like somebody who is proud. Miles Davis was proud. Or are you proud?
Or maybe he looks like my brother.
Okay, I hear you. What would you like to say to your fans as we go right now? You have lots of fans, if not here, around the world. What do you want to say to them as we leave this conversation right now? Should they look forward to anything from you in terms of music?
Santana.
Okay.
Santana. Yeah.
Okay.
He took a break with my music, and he didn't sound like me.
Exactly. You want people to do that for you, for your music?
Yeah.
Take your music and do something with it.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, thank you very much. I hope we say hello to everybody at Salt Pond.
Yeah.
I know that's your city. That's where you are.
Yeah.
And the next time I'm in that area, I'll check in on you.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Uncle Ebo, thank you so much.
Check on me.
I'll check on you. Yes, and maybe we'll play something together.
All right.
Yes, you take out your guitar, I'll take out my piano, and do something. Yeah, I like.
Yeah, your brother told me you play piano.
My brother, yes, my brother plays piano too. I play too, a little bit, but not as good as him. Yes, so we'll have a jam together.
Okay.
Is that a date?
Yeah.
That's a date.
Yeah.
All right. Uncle Ebo, thank you very much. Medasi.
Medasi.
Yes. And that's our chat with guitarist, composer, band leader, recording artist, arranger, and he's still active in the world of music at the age of 85, getting on to 86, God willing, on the 6th of January 2022. Thank you so much. GTV Breakfast continues on issues of not death, but love. Okay, and what is the ideal age to get married? 25, 35, 45, 18? Valerie has the answers with her guests. It's Kelly Daniels. Don't go anywhere. This is hashtag GTV Breakfast.
Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show.
Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the
Welcome to this side of the breakfast table, the warmer side, and the lifestyle segment is brought to us by Kindness of Airtel Tigo. We're going to be talking about love, marriage, and love across ages. Before we get to start that conversation, though, we'll take a quick break for Airtel Tigo. Let's find out what they have in store for Ghanaians.
This is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital. This is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital.
Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. And so we are going to be having this conversation around love across all ages. We are going to be having it with a relationship expert. His name is Kelly Daniels, and he's been on our show before. Getting married is everyone's dream. Some marry at younger ages, middle ages. What's the ideal time to get married, Kelly? Get married, I beg your pardon.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone, and nice to be here again after a while. What's the right age to be married? There's no age to be married in specificity. What you have to find out is what is the right mature state of mind to be married. Because we have many averagely 30 to 40-year-olds who are supposedly meant to have a certain level of understanding about marriage, and they are thinking like 20-year-olds who are just about starting life. So we have a lot of 6-foot-tall, bearded boys who happen to be called men in society, and vice versa for the women. So it's not about the age, it's about the readiness, and with readiness comes maturity, and with maturity comes discipline. If you're not a disciplined person, you cannot be mature. If you cannot be mature, you can't be married. Marriage is not about signing a document, signing, you know, a certificate. It's about self-awareness, self-readiness, self-love before you think about any other human being. This many people do not have.
Right. There's a saying that when you marry, you come home early. Is it a mere saying, or it actually works from your experience and where you sit as a relationship expert?
It depends on who's married. If a boy is married, he'll still not come home. If a boy is married, if you're married, what brings you home, divas? What brings you home could be work. I just want to concentrate on work.
What I meant to say was when you marry early, you come home early.
So that one.
That
one.
Yeah, that
no,
one.
no, I don't believe that. I don't believe that. What brings you back home depends on how you handled the marriage you went into. So if you were ready for it, what's bringing you home? If anything should bring you home after you've gotten married, should be visitation, and visitation should be very, very, very temporal. In fact, you should snap in and snap out because you've got to go back to where you came from. So visitation, coming home as a married person should be out of courtesy for your family, not because you have issues, basically.
But what happens when there's an issue and there's no working around it? Isn't the only way out to go back home or see divorce?
Your family shouldn't be the first that occurs to you to fix your marital issue.
Okay.
The moment you think first about your family to fix your marital issue, you have destroyed that marriage already. This is what I mean. If, for example, you reconcile, the perspective of your family towards your spouse will never remain the same no matter how much you try. Their mindsets are already colored. And so to love your spouse as much as they did, or to regard or respect your spouse like the way they should, may never come up again. Because of the toxic things you have said to them about your spouse will never be in their good books no matter how much you reconcile with your spouse later. That's one. The second reason why you cannot talk to your family about your spouse as your first option is that you would have a backlash of either I told you so or we don't do this here. Either tell you, well, we warned you, Or they tell you, oh, in this family, you know we don't divorce, so go back to where you're coming from. That's not what you want to hear at that time. You want to hear a person who understands, not someone who just has a listening ear. The difference between someone who understands and someone who has a listening ear is that the person who has a listening ear may not have solutions for you. And family hardly ever has solutions for you. In fact, the number one solution many families have is to just leave him and come home, or leave her and move on. Exactly. So the person you want to talk to is the person who understands, and that's where a professional counselor comes in, not a person who has many years of experience in marriage.
Right.
The difference between a professional counselor and somebody who has many years of experience in marriage is that the person who has many years of experience in marriage is not the prototype of how your marriage should work. So that should not form a yardstick for how every other marriage should work just because their marriage works that way. But then a professional marriage counselor or a relationship consultant, humbly as I am, has crisscrossed all forms, major forms of all of these things. And they know what is best for you. That goes to say that the fact that you're a pastor doesn't mean you should automatically become a marriage counselor. A pastor is meant to grow the flock to know God more. A marriage counselor is supposed to help your marriage get fixed. If you want to be a pastor and then a marriage counselor, go to school. Learn about it. Grow, be taught. You don't just assume.
Right.
Basically.
Right. How prepared should we be before, anybody be before getting into marriage, emotionally, financially, psychologically maybe?
Well, you actually mentioned the points. So before you say, I'm ready to marry this person, there are 4 or 5 things I want to check. There are many, but let me just mention these. You need to find out that the person has financial compatibility with you. And that doesn't mean that the person should be rich. It doesn't even mean that the person should have any money. Financial compatibility doesn't talk about how much we both have. It's about how we can manage what we have together, or what we don't have.
Okay, okay.
That's what financial compatibility is.
Not someone who's
Is your
rich.
money our money, or your money is your money? That's what financial compatibility talks about.
Okay.
So if we say your money is our money and my money is our money, it means that we can deal with a single account situation.
Right.
If that's not the case, well, we should better think about... Now, that's financial compatibility.
Still on the financial compatibility. There was a moment a few weeks ago, there was this meme that was going around on social media that says that if you're in a marriage and the woman has 50 cedis, is her money. If you have 100 cedis, is our money. What's your take on that?
If I married you...
Yes.
Whose wife are you?
Your wife.
If you married me, whose husband am I?
Mine.
Okay, good. So what is mine is yours, and what is yours is mine. Now, that's my understanding.
But women have a totally different understanding.
Women don't have any right to write a constitution about marriage. Marriage existed before they were created. It's just that they used them to execute what marriage is. No, marriage is not a constitution of any country, any government, any culture. Marriage is divine. And if you want to follow the divinity record of what marriage is, then do it how the originator set the rules.
What if a woman has more money or makes more money than the man?
The more money you make as a woman, the more humble you should be instantly if you want to keep your marriage.
Some people will come at you on social media for this issue.
Throw your stones. You want to keep a marriage as a married woman.
The more money
the more money you earn, the
make me more humble.
The more humbler you should become.
Please.
Because your job in that marriage fundamentally is submission. So that's why it is your prerogative to make sure this man is worth your submission, knowing how high you are going in life. So submission is not a forceful situation. Submission, let me tell you the difference between obedience and submission. Obedience is you tell me what to do and I do it. Submission is that I have what it takes not to do it, but I choose to do it because I choose you to put myself under. And under doesn't mean that you are higher. Under means I give the authority to dictate for me. Now, that is big.
Huge.
That is a big deal. So many people who say, me, I cannot submit to any man. It's true. We respect it. That the day you choose a man to live with to call your husband is the day you're telling man and God that everything you wear, everything you are, and everything you'll ever be is at his authority.
Which is, in this case, my husband's.
Which is your husband and not any other man, not even your father. So if your father says, I want to see you, and your husband says, not now, you choose your husband, not your father.
Okay.
That's where people miss it. So submission is not, where people miss it is that they are vulnerable to what they call love, and they say they want to get married quickly, not knowing that submission is on the journey. And you've got to say yes, sir, to this man for the rest of your life. So who are you? Discover who you are as a woman. Where am I going? What do I want to do with my life? Who is worth all these that I have put together to call mine? And then you choose a man of all the billions of men in the world to say, you know what? I've become so and so. But I see leadership qualities in you that will make me better than who I am. So here is who I am. Here is my worth. Take control.
It sounds so easy, but I doubt it is really easy.
I don't think it sounds easy. It's work.
Yeah, it should
that's why I first said, without maturity, you can't be married.
Okay.
And without discipline, you can't be mature. So that's why I said, understand yourself. Self-worth, self-understanding, then self-love. Before you choose to be disciplined, do you know what it means to submit to a man?
What does it mean?
It means that you don't have a say, period. It's as clear as that.
But in this day
you can suggest, but you don't have the final say. Oh, Mira, I think if we do this and this and this, it doesn't mean that what you have said becomes law. What he decides becomes law. That's why you shouldn't commit yourself like a fool in the name of feelings and orgasm. Orgasm doesn't pay bills. Emotions don't pay bills. Goods bomb doesn't pay bills. What is in his head? How is he triggering me to think? Does he make me think about a beautiful future for myself, not even for us? If a man doesn't make the future of a woman colorful in her mind, she should not commit to such a man.
Say that again.
If a man doesn't make the future of a woman colorful for herself in her mind, he doesn't deserve her.
Simple.
Because after giving birth for you, I have a life to live. Before giving birth for you, I have a life to live. If I never ever give birth for you, you cannot say that I'm a useless woman because I didn't give you babies. I'm still as quality as you met me, and I have a life to live. If you don't have the mindset to project the woman in me greater than the woman you met, let's not talk marriage.
Right. That's the financial bit that got us into this conversation. Now let's talk emotional. How emotionally ready should you be before you go into marriage?
Be ready for a breakup.
Kelly, say that again.
I know you didn't see that coming.
Why should we be ready for a breakup?
You see, what you protect beyond measure, you lose. There's a difference between respect for what we have and respect for who I am. If you don't respect who I am, you can't respect what we have. What we have is the affection, is the love, is the whatever it may be. But beyond that is, I want to see how much you respect who I am. I want you to also respect, to see how much I respect who you are. The respect for each other's values helps us to respect what we have decided to do together. So I must make up my mind that this person I'm about to marry, I can lose him on the way if he's not charting the course of what I'm looking at before I get married. So it's okay to actually walk out on your wedding day and say you're not interested if you see something that you're not comfortable with.
Before you say I do, definitely, I agree with that. Now, what's the ideal age gap for a relationship? What's the ideal age gap?
All right. Well, We might not have all the time, so let me quickly say this. If you're watching right now, follow me at Kelly Daniels Office on Instagram and let me know that you're watching. Send me your name and your number and we will deal with stuff. I'm going to talk about an event I'm going to be having soon, okay? So Kelly Daniels Office on Instagram, right? Follow right now and then DM me your name and your number. We will talk. What's the ideal age to get married? It varies from country to country or continent to continent.
For a relationship, actually, not just marriage, for a relationship.
There's still no age per se. Because I started doing public speaking at 16. And I didn't even know it was public speaking. Somebody started doing public speaking at 30. It means to say that I possibly was ready for marriage at 24. But 24 is somebody's starting point of self-discovery.
So it varies.
So it varies from who to who. What do you know? How much do you know? How relevant is what you know? How can you apply what you know on another human being to get results? That's why some people are toxic to people and they don't even know. That's why some people are toxic to themselves and they don't even know. So before you find out who is at fault in the relationship, check if it could be you. Most of the time, 90% of the time, the ones who caused whatever is happening in that relationship is us.
Yeah.
Because whatever the person is doing is dependent on what the person has seen you do. So the person is actually a reflection of your garbage out.
Garbage out. Kelly, do older men, do older women make better partners?
Again, it's not the age. Mature human beings who mutually understand, respect, and are willing to commit the promotion of values of each other stay longer in relationships and marriage. This is not an age factor. So you can be 50 and a 25-year-old will date you and say, ew, grow up. Yes. So it's not about the chronology. It's more about the contents of the container involved. Everybody has got something. What are you offering? What are you putting on the table?
Okay. So in Africa, especially Ghana, when a lady reaches a certain age and she's not married, family comes at her, friends come at her, social media becomes a horror to be on. What's your take on that?
Ignorance. Ignorance on the people talking her down. Ignorance on her accepting their opinions. What makes a woman ready for marriage is a woman's ability to understand that time is not a factor when she knows she's not ready. A 42-year-old person who knows she's not ready should keep working on herself with integrity and not say, oh, time is going, so I have to settle for who comes. You're jeopardizing your life and the lives of the children coming.
Right. Now, there's a rouse on social media that says that younger men are going for older women, and that's the trend. And you're a relationship expert.
Yes.
Do you get a lot of that coming to your table? Younger men going for older women now?
On an average, 8 out of 10.
Really?
Yeah, no.
What's accounted for that?
The first thing I might want to say, sadly, is the unfortunate situation of laziness for most men who don't want to work their behind out to earn a living worth self-celebrating. So they go for women who are older, who are literally giving up on themselves, who have everything it takes to take care of that man and say, you know what, I love you, I want to keep you, you are everything I need, and not about what you have, it's about who you are. And every woman wants to hear that. And a woman who has got age against her like that would fall for that. Unfortunately, the guy gets what he wants apart from everything else you might imagine, and chickens out. That's one. The second factor that will make a younger person, a younger man settle for a younger woman is actually in the positive. Sometimes some young men are actually more intelligent for their ages.
Right. Pause on that. This is good morning, team. This is someone sent this. Daniel from East Legon sent this to our WhatsApp number. He says, "Thank you very much for bringing Kelly back. I hope he comes more often." This is Daniel. Thank you, Daniel, for watching. And,
so,
yeah.
On the good side of it, on the good news side of it, some young people are actually more intelligent than their ages. And so dating their contemporaries is demotion for them because their contemporaries don't think how they think. They're like, where are you from? So they want someone who can challenge their thinking. And so when they are even dating that younger person, they don't even feel, older person, they don't even feel like the person is older. Neither does the person who is older feel like the other person is younger because they are at par intellectually. As a matter of fact, when the younger person tells his age, the woman is like, stop joking. And it's like, oh, but that's my age, and it's almost unbelievable. So those are the two major reasons I would want to mention right about now.
This is someone, you didn't send in your name. I said, love across ages, please. Kezia, watching you from Accra. Kindly let us have the young man's Instagram page again. So, Kelly, this is you. A young man.
I like the sound of young man. Yes, I am a young man. So it's at Kelly Daniels Office on Instagram. And then you send me your name and number to say, I am interested in what you're doing, and then we can, not interested in me, but interested in what I'm doing.
Then we'll definitely have you on here again, but you have an event that's coming up on the 23rd of November.
Yes, so by God's grace, we've been growing from venue to venue, and now it looks like the only venue that can take us right now is the National Theatre.
That's huge. That's a lot. Nice.
So for the first time in Ghana, or maybe in the first time in a long time, or an exception in Ghana, we'll be having a First Love conference at the National Theatre, and we would want to give a couple of people free tickets. So what you need to do is follow at Kelly Daniels Office on Instagram, and then send me your name and number. We would call you personally, vet you, ask you certain questions, because it's not a meeting for everybody. We have a particular audience we want to deal with, a very, very mature audience because of the things we're going to be saying, right? So send me your name and number to Kelly Daniels Office on Instagram. Well, WhatsApp only would be 055-313-5074 because we understand that many people may not be on Instagram. So just WhatsApp your name and number and say National Theatre. So 055-313-5074. What are we discussing? We are discussing how love works. That's a theme. How love works. Many people don't know what love is to even know how it works.
How it works.
So
that's a good one.
How Love Works comes up on the 23rd. It's a Wednesday evening at the National Theatre, just exactly 3 weeks from now at the National Theatre in Accra. So if you're coming from wherever part of the country, let us know so we make arrangements for you, and then you should be fine. At Kelly Daniels Office on Instagram.
All right, Kelly. Thank you very much for coming on our show. We'll definitely have you in again. If you want to say anything.
Yes, well...
we want tickets.
So, thank you for coming.
Thanks for coming. It's great.
You're welcome.
So, guys,
because of him, you may see me in a movie. I'm just giving you like now.
We're
nice.
in the movie
Right up, Charlie.
Will he be wearing his baby blue kaftan?
Thank you so much. We've been spending time with Kelly Daniels, and we've been discussing love across ages. We've had our breakfast table has been really, really heavy today. Back to back, we had interesting conversations, and we got to meet the amazing Abo Taylor guys. Until see you again on Monday. Catch us live 6 a.m. Don't forget the hashtag to follow. It's GTV Breakfast on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Read the proverb.
Proverb for the day is be a mountain or lean on one, and that's a Somali proverb.
Repeat.
Be a mountain or lean on one, Somali proverb. Nice weekend, guys.
Okay,
be
guys.
A mountain,
so
you know what?
Are you excited about Ashanti Week next week?
Yes.
So next week we'll be focusing on the rich culture coming to us from the Ashanti region and its chiefs and people, and we hope you'll come on that journey with us. So send us your ideas, our WhatsApp number, and we'll see you Monday.
Bye.
Bye-bye.